Dragonese whereabout. 7. She now finally knows how her son managed to pull so many demon beasts here at once. The boy used Deetsong as a monkey show. Don't listen to those people, father. What show could there be here to watch? Pinching her husband's hand, Bai Yen shoots a stare to her man as a warning not to babble on in case it makes things worse. Unfortunately for this careless woman, her act only gave the demon lord the opportunity to grasp onto those fingers and not let go. Acting like he's oblivious to their flirtatious behavior, Yun Feng continues to grin from eye to eye. Actually, I came to find you too for another matter. What? Startled, Bai Yen asks. Remember the little lass you're looking for? Well, someone has informed me there's information on her whereabout. According to some eyewitnesses at Plum Mountain, there's been a sighting of a dragon that could transform into a human girl. I suspect that dragon is the one you're seeking. Lighting up in the face, where is this Plum Mountain? It's not far from here. I can get my people to accompany you. There's no need for that. Tell me the directions and we will go there on our own. Also, father, I will have to bother you to look after Xiaochen and Xiao Wan while we're not around. This promptly brought on a twitching disorder in the man's mouth. Yun Feng's not oblivious to the troubles caused by the demon princess in the short time she's around so far. Yenner, can you bring Miss Xiao Wan along with you and leave Xiaochen behind? This won't do. If that girl continues to stay at our home unsupervised, then who knows what other sort of problems might arise. No need for that sort of hassle, we'll be back very soon anyways. If we bring her along with us, then I'm afraid it might take more than a few days to return. Bai Yen naturally didn't quite get the hint in her old man's plea there, hence the denial. Alright, then you must come back quickly, as soon as possible. Yun Feng made sure to repeat this twice to emphasize that point. Sadly, this fell on deaf ears. Turning to Deetsong, Bai Yen decides to head off. We're leaving now. I want to find Dragony as soon as possible. Okay. Towards his wife's request, this demon lord has never been one to refuse. But the most hateful part was the fact that the dragon girl holds an important spot in Bai Yan's heart, which meant he's now forced to share another space in there with someone else. Oh yes, Tsing Yi will also have to be in your care while we're gone. Please find the ingredients on the list I gave you. She is in urgent need of the medicine. After some thought, Bai Yen bothers her old man with another request. It couldn't be helped. The injuries have been there years already, any longer, and it might devolve into a scenario where even Bai Yen might not have the confidence to tackle. Don't worry, I have already found all the herbs you need except for one. The last is already being searched by my people. I'm sure there will be news very soon. This was a rare chance for Yun Feng to act like a proper father, so this request has become top priority in the man's head. Then we'll set off first. Heaving a breather, Bai Yen no longer wants to delay the matter and waltz right out of the courtyard. Plum Mountain's located not far from the main city. With the strength of a monarch rank, reaching the place could be done within a day's time if they rushed it. Under normal circumstances, this mountain would be a quiet and peaceful area for those who wish to go for a hike or a little venture. But now, it's crowded with large numbers of adventurers and members of various smaller sections. The most notable were the groups standing at guard expelling everyone else from the mountain. This Plum Mountain is now under the control of our Sky Dragon sect. Outsiders are to leave immediately. Aren't you people overstepping your boundaries? Who here doesn't know there's a dragon up in the mountain? Seeing the bullying behavior of these people from the Sky Dragon sect, the rest of the adventurers had all started to shout and curse at them. Though there are indeed dragons living within the territories of the Misty Fairy House, but after so many years of secrecy and lack of sighting, most have gradually turned to believing it as a myth. For example, these adventurers and smaller sects under the rule of the Misty Fairy House only came because of the rumored sighting. Not even they themselves actually believed the myth until recently, where someone noteworthy swore by the rumor. Dragonese whereabout. 8. Ho ho. The people from the Sky Dragon sect scoffs a laugh at the outspoken individual. You're nothing but a king rank. How dare you come here and demand a piece of the prize? Know this, our sect leader has already broken into the monarch rank the other day. Now do you still want to talk? For a while there, the rest of the protesting crowd had gone silent, their faces all fuming red due to the curses they couldn't say. And another thing, our leader has gone in person to the Plum Mountain, presumably to tame that dragon. If you people don't leave now, then you better prepare yourselves. By then I doubt any of you will be able to get off easy. But that doesn't mean you can just take the dragon girl for yourself either. The outspoken individual still didn't want to leave. He knows if they don't fight for the dragon, then it would mean a major loss on their part and a major gain for the foe. But, it's as these grunts down here says, their sect leader was indeed very powerful. More than they could handle. Then just as the blockading grunts were about to throw another series of mockery at the other side, someone suddenly exclaimed from the side and cut their voices off. Just now, did you see that? I think someone just entered the Plum Mountain. What? The leading grunt grew furious. Who dares to go against our Sky Dragon sect? If the sect leader finds out I didn't stop everyone at the base as ordered. Thinking of the consequences, the leading grunt immediately scans the mountain for signs of the trespassers. Sure enough, his eyes soon fell upon the family of trio moving up the dirt path. The most eye-catching had to be the woman in red. She's most likely the wife and was exceptionally beautiful. As for the child holding onto the female's hand, it would be the son based on how carefree he was acting in between the parents. And as for the male who was both threatening and seductive, the grunt didn't dare to make eye contact and shirked away at first glance. The three of you don't move. Despite the hollering order, the family simply ignored him and continued on for the deeper parts of the mountain. Do you know who we are? We are the Sky Dragon sect. All living dragons of this world belongs to us, they are our slaves. Trembling all over due to the intense rage and fear coursing through the grunt's vein, he could do nothing but to use his own sect's name to threaten the couple. He's the typical type to bully the weak and cower before the strong. Meanwhile in the background, the other adventurers in smaller sects were all showing shock at this blatant display of dismissal. Though they also wanted to act like that and not admit defeat, but the Sky Armor sect holds too much power and influence in comparison. These three are courting their own death at this rate. We may speak out, but who would really dare to go up the mountain? True, I've heard before that the Sky Dragon sect is named as so is because the founder managed to tame a flying dragon and make it their servant. As a result of the gossiping voices, the grunts in charge of blockading the mountain base were immediately lit with pride after being openly humiliated. But then was that really the true story about a dragon being tamed? Absolutely not. There did exist a dragon in this Sky Dragon sect hundreds of years ago, however, the master in that case fell to the dragon and it was the humans who are in charge of servicing the serpent. The dragon chief of the demon realm, won, so, in order to hide the humiliating truth of himself being a mere servant to a beast after succumbing to its might, the founder of the Sky Dragon sect deliberately changed the history texts to suit his needs. Perhaps it's the boastful talks of his organization taming a dragon or whatever, but the leading grunt now suddenly found himself with courage. Picking up a hefty branch from the ground, he flings it at the family of three like a childish taunt. However, before the wooden object could make contact at all, the branch had suddenly halted in midair and swung around like a projectile. This scared the daylights out of the man, of course. Without being able to scream at this horrid sight, the branch had impaled itself into the leading grunt's chest and took his life away. The whole mountain base had fallen into a dead silence over this sight. Not a single person dared to move or utter a single word, that's how horrified they were at the disappearing figures of that family. Plum Mountain. Standing atop of the peak, Ling Qing Chang coldly glares at the gathered group in front of herself. What, does the Grass Heaven sect and Flying Moon sect also want to fight me for the prize? Oh Qing Chang, that's not right in what you're saying. Lord Bao of the Grass Heaven sect sneers at the leader of the Sky Dragon sect. Since when is there a rule that other sects can't aim for the dragon just because you want her? As we all know, the number of demon beasts have been dwindling in the world, especially the dragon race. Now that one is before our eyes, there's no way we would give it up. That's right. Zhong Mu Qing of the Flying Moon sect also chimes in. Lord Bao is right, there's no reason for us to yield to you Qing Chang. You may be the leader of the Sky Dragon sect, but that doesn't mean we will do as you wish. What's more, I'm sure the rest of the world will also do the same if they become aware of what's happening here. Hearing the words of these two men, Ling Qing Chang's temple immediately furrowed into a knot. There's a gleam of killing intent she's trying to suppress. It looks like the two of you have forgotten about my sex origin. All dragons belong to us and must serve my people. You two want to snatch away what is by right the sky dragon sex inheritance. Dream on. The two of you don't have that ability. Raising a smirk, this woman then shifts her gaze at the young little girl lying on the ground. This young lass had a very lovely appearance, just that it's marred by the anger-filled eyes staring at the humans gathered around herself. And as a result of the injuries she succumbed to, that face looked rather pale in the reflecting light of the sun. Little girl. Compared with the cold prideful tone she used against the others, Ling Qing Cheng of the Sky Dragon sect sounded a lot kinder when facing her prize. These bad people are here to hurt you. Only by coming back to my home will you be sheltered from their evil hands. I don't believe in humans. The little girl huffs and swings her head to one side. Don't worry, little girl, my Sky Dragon sect is known to be very good to your kind. As long as you follow me, then no one can hurt you again. Really? Perhaps it's due to her lack of experience and age, but the lass soon came around and asked with a tinge of hope in her voice, then can you help me find a person? Who? Elated inside, the woman hurries to ask. She's called Bai Yen. That little sister is looking for this Bai Yen. If I have these humans help, then it should make it faster. The dragon chief of the demon realm, too. As for what she looks like, I don't know. The little girl frowns and makes a disappointed face. I only know she looks very good, and that she carries a baby fox around at all times. That fox is very beautiful though, so can you help me find them? Don't know what she looks like. Flashing in the eye like she's come down with a wonderful idea, Ling Qing Cheng almost broke out into laughter. What a coincidence, my Sky Dragon sect also has someone that's called Bai Yen and she carries around a fox too. She might just be the one you're seeking. Really? The girl immediately livened up with those sparkling eyes. Little girl, Shui Bao of the Grass Heaven sect could no longer watch this. Using a sarcastic tone, this woman is a very high-handed person. If you do go with her, then you will likely never be able to leave again. First looking at the fleshy-looking Shui Bao, then at the good-looking woman, the little girl subconsciously chose to believe the female instead. It couldn't be helped, looks are everything nowadays, especially when one's in unknown territory. I can go with you to the Sky Dragon sect, but you must let me meet Bai Yen. Little sister is still waiting for that person to go save her. Seeing the little girl's willingness to stand from the ground, Ling Qing Cheng immediately issued a sigh of relief. She had worried earlier that it would be difficult to get the dragon to come with herself, but now it seems only a few lies was what's needed to break apart that vigilant attitude. Humph, once you're at my place, then you will be forever mine. In this life, you will be my most loyal slave. Hold it. Seeing how the coveting prize was about to leave before their eyes, the other two men who also showed today could no longer stay idle. They attacked from both sides and raised a storm of clouds with their strikes. You people are seeking death. Greatly enraged by the interference, Ling Qing Cheng retaliates only to be forced backwards in the first exchange. She's only by herself and there's two powerful foes right now. Swoosh. 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 Multiple figures descends onto the ground at this moment, their stances in a defensive position around Qing Cheng's front. Grinning right up to her eyes, elders, I will take this girl and leave first, handle these impudent transgressors until we're free. As soon as she said that, the woman immediately makes a grab for the little girl's collar. In one jump, the pair had flown into the air and disappeared onto the surrounding environment. As a result of that little turn of event, Bai Yen and her family weren't able to witness the whole process after they arrived. However, they did come across the ensuing fight that's now devastating the landscape in this part of the mountain. Deetsong, it seems that we are late in reaching here. Dragony is nowhere to be seen. Showing a faint frown on her face, Bai Yen watches the battle between two forces up in the clouds with her son and husband. Wait here for me, Yen Yen, I won't be long. The man seductively whispers this into her ear and causes his wife to daze out for a moment. By the time Bai Yen came back to her senses, it was already too late to stop him. All of you listen up, have any of you seen a wounded dragon around here? The dragon chief of the demon realm, 3. At first the people fighting down below were still unaware of a third part arriving at their location, but after hearing that demanding question, they all stopped and snickered sarcastically at the arrogant man. So another one has come to snatch the dragon girl for themselves? Mu Qing of the Grass Heaven sect says, unfortunately for you, the lass has already been taken away by the sect leader of the Sky Dragon sect. Whether she's dead or alive right now, no one knows, so quit wasting your efforts. Boom. Exploding with dangerous energy, Bai Yan's gaze turned sharp and bone-chilling. Are you saying those from the Sky Dragon sect took away Dragony against her will? That's right. Mu Qing gnashes his teeth for that answer. If you still want to go collect the dragon girl's corpse, then go look for them. The statement was definitely over the tops because anyone could tell Ling Qing Chang took the dragon away in order to tame her. So, the reasonable expectation would be that there's no way the woman would kill the naive dragon girl. But why did this leader of the Sky Moon sect say something so damning? It's out of spite. If he couldn't get his hands on something, then he won't let others get it either. Deetsong, we're leaving. Frosty in her tone, Bai Yan didn't want to waste another second on these people. In her view, if so much as a hair were to be harmed on her adopted daughter, then they will pay with their dear lives. Hold it. The elders who came to act as backup for Ling Qing Chang's promptly attacked the family after hearing their intended purpose. Scram. Turning dangerous in the eye, Deetsong raises a hand and fires off a blast of burning flame of purple at the pursuing group. In an instant, the elder team was incinerated, leaving nothing but a puff of smoke in their wake. Those left behind from the Sky Moon sect and Heaven Grass sect were completely shell-shocked by the picture. The only reason they told the truth regarding Ling Qing Chang taking away the dragon girl was because they wanted this family to act as a diversion. Then when the opening arises, the two would take the opportunity to leave and pursue the dragon on their own while the family stays behind to keep the elders' team company. But who could have guessed the outcome for their plan would be this magnificent? Do we even have a chance to win against such people? Many survivors thought and began to have doubts in their ability. For a time, none had wanted to speak, nor did they move those legs at all. In fact, they didn't even realize it when Bai Yan and her family had gone on their merry way due to being in their own little world. One hand holding his precious wife, the other his troublesome kid who threw a tantrum to tag along, Deetsong moved at such razor-fast speed that the entire landscape had become a motioning blur. Sadly, despite the amazing pace they went at, there's no one left at the bottom of the mountain after they arrived. Son, call Goldie with your communication stone and ask him to seek your grandfather out. We need to know where that Sky Dragon sect is located. Furrowing her brow at the missed opportunity, Bai Yan's voice revealed a touch of killing intent. Okay, mother. The little steambun obeys the request with glee in his voice. He's very happy to be able to help after forcing his way for the ride. A few conversing dialogues later. Mother, grandfather said as long as we keep going forward then we will find the Sky Dragon sect. Then we'll go now. Back over at the main residence, Yun Feng had just finished communicating with his daughter and grandson when he tossed the communication stone back to Goldie, the gold dragon. Making a confused face of worry, why is Yinner asking about the Sky Dragon sect? Did they offend her or something? Because of Bai Yan's urgency to find Dragony, the little steambun had omitted the details regarding their new destination and reasoning for going. Yun Feng, did the Sky Dragon sect offend someone? It was then that Chief Wu Wei's inquiring voice cuts in from the back, causing the already perplexed man to get even more agitated. The dragon chief of the demon realm, towards this father of his, Yun Feng definitely held a certain level of resentment. After all, if it wasn't for this person then he wouldn't have lost his wife and missed out on the important years of his own daughter growing up. However, when he turned around to meet that deliberate flattering smile of this older man, he just couldn't help but soften into a hopeless sigh. The Sky Dragon sect offended Yenner. What did you say? The chief flies into a rage. The Sky Dragon sect offend Yenner? Who doesn't know the girl is my granddaughter? I remember we recently took one of their elders into our ranks because the guy broke into the middle level of the monarch rank. Bring him along and go see what's happening. Yun Feng stared blankly at his old man right now. He wanted to remind the person of Deetsong and Bai Yan's strength, but against the thought of someone trying to bully his daughter. I'll take people there right away. Giving a supportive nod, I want everyone to know that Bai Yen is my granddaughter, and that no one can offend her, especially that Sky Dragon sect. But just when the chief wanted to say something else and give a few more orders, a delicate voice from the rear had caught him off guard. Grandfather, are you talking about the Sky Dragon sect? Holding a skewer of sugar dates in hand, Di Xiaowan asks with curious light in those eyes. You know about them as well? Chief Wu Wei responds with a tinge of surprise in those eyes. Not exactly, the princess shakes her head, but I do know the current dragon chief had once set up a faction here in the human world. I'm just wondering if it's the same one. Ever since Dragony's father was removed from the position of chief from his clan, the new leader of the dragons had fallen onto the shoulder of the individual called Long Tian, Dragon Sky. So, as the nosy little brat that the princess was, she's been listening in on a lot of stories after pestering the poor man, hence the knowledge about this case. Taken aback by this, Chief Wu Wei sounded almost incredulous. You mean, the Sky Dragon sect was founded by a dragon and that the human founder was nothing more than a slave to the creature? Isn't it supposed to be the other way around? Regarding that last bit, the princess nearly lost her footing and dropped the sugar dates from those hands. That's how shocked she was. The dragons have always been proud and arrogant. How can they willingly become someone's slave? Let's do this. Since the dragon chief still hasn't paid his greetings to my sister-in-law because he couldn't make it due to some delay, we can ask him when he comes. Based on the timing, the man should be arriving soon. Gobbling up the sugar dates, she wipes those lips and grinned in a silly manner. Both men exchanged a glance, their minds thinking of the same thing. The Sky Dragon sect's history is fake? Perhaps it's just a coincidence or that fate likes to play with humanity, but a loud thundering roar of a dragon suddenly rocks the entire estate and sends everyone scrambling for the outside. It's not just the main house who's been alarmed by this magnificent force either, because one could literally hear this from 1,000 miles away. As a result, those elders in closed-door training right now had all broke out of their hiding spots and searched the air for the source. The dragon chief of the demon realm, 5, have all of the elders come see me right away. Running in with haste, Ling Qing Chang's first order to her people was to summon the rest of the elder team remaining in her sect. In no time at all, a gathering within the conference hall has been arranged. Seated in the middle section, right now, I want all of you to go find a good-looking woman and catch a fox for me. I need her to pose as someone else with the name called Bai Yen. Though the group didn't quite understand their sect leader's order or why it's been demanded, but they didn't object. It's a well-known fact that this Qing Chang was a dictator and wouldn't listen to anyone. Yes, leader. Affirming with a slight bow, they all left to carry out the command. Showing a sinister grin after being left alone, Ling Qing Chang, have never lost in this life. Not to mention the dragons should be submitting to my Sky Dragon sect in the first place. If only the founder is still around, then I won't even need to resort to using such means to make those lizards submit. Perhaps it's the thought of her idolized figure, but the cold look in this woman's face had gradually softened up. At this moment 2 disciples of this faction were currently moaning and groaning at the foot of the mountain after being given the order from the higher-ups. I really don't know what the sect leader is thinking. Why would she have us go look for a woman in order to pretend to be someone else? And what's with the fox too? I know. Finding a woman is easy, we can get one from a nearby village, but a fox though? Where are we supposed to find one when most have run off in the general direction of the main house from yesterday? Both youngsters sighed at their misfortune. Then just when they're about to continue in their search, a mesmerizing and gorgeous figure appears in front, causing their eyes to gawk with light. Senior Zhang, what do you think of that girl over there? Sect leader mentioned the more beautiful the better, she would be a perfect fit. How about we ask her? While the individual said it like a question, but those feet had already started to move before then. Miss, sir, please hold on a minute. At this moment Bai Yen and Di Tsang were busy rushing up the mountain path when they were stopped by the 2 youngsters. As a result, the woman's brow had furrowed into a knot at the interruption. Miss, I'll introduce myself first. I am a disciple of the Sky Dragon sect. The one on the left loudly proclaims, his face showing pride at his own background. This instantly caught the female's attention despite her initial intent to ignore these two. Sky Dragon Sect? She chuckles dangerously. Not noticing their doomed fate, the youngster continues after getting their attention. Yes, I am a disciple of the Sky Dragon Sect. This time our leader specifically had us come down to look for a facially beautiful woman to pose as someone. And the job is simple, you only have to gain the trust of a young lass. The sole reason why they didn't bother looking within their own grounds was because of a very simple fact. Ling Qingchang has always been a jealous person. She would never allow anyone to be more beautiful than herself to take the limelight. Openly frowning now, who are you trying to pose as? It's a woman called Bai Yan. They're all here. 1. Completely baffled by what she's heard, Bai Yan shows a strange look on her face. The Sky Dragon Sect's people want to impersonate me? Papa, Mama, Bai Xiachen speaks while blinking innocently. That Sky Dragon Sect should have a lot of fun things there. Can we go with these big brothers? At first she didn't quite understand what her son meant by the odd request, but then when she noticed the cunning and sly glint in the boy's pupil, she immediately knew what he wanted. Sure, Ditsang's speed may be extremely fast and convenient, but that doesn't change the fact they're on limited time and don't know the exact location of the other side's base of operation. Now that someone's willing to lead them there, who would refuse? Hubby, stretching that word out in the most cringeworthy manner, Bai Yan went ahead to place that arm around her man's shoulder like a happy couple. I also heard of their name. Now that we are here anyways, why don't we go up to the mountain and have a look to grow some insight? This immediately sent the great demon lord numb to his knees from the jumping delight. How could he ever deny her request when she says it like that? Okay. All smiles there when facing his wife, Ditsang's voice was filled with affection. Towards this picture, both disciples from the Sky Dragon Sect were sneering inside after they exchanged a look. This woman really is a country bumpkin. Just hearing about our big name and she's already being moved. No matter, such a thing is more to our convenience. Ahumph. The one on the right wearing the blue robe warns his colleague with a cough to not say more. Later when the sect leader asks, tell her you're my distant relative. We did not find you here at the foot of the mountain, understand? That little comment instantly infuriated the great demon lord's ire. However, right when the man's about to release some of that murderous aura, the woman beside him notices it and tugged at his hand to halt it. I understand. No matter, I will get even with these people from the Sky Dragon Sect after I find Dragoni. A little more time won't make a difference. Perhaps it's because of Ling Qingchang's order, but the mood within this sect hasn't been very peaceful lately. Is the little girl still making a fuss? The sect leader asks while being served by a large number of ladies. Despite this picture that would make most men drool, it didn't. Mostly because of the mediocre faces of these females aside from one. Leader, that dragon girl is crying out constantly, demanding to meet Bai Yan. We have only just sent our people out to find an imposter, it won't be for a while until they return. One of the disciples report in a respectful manner. It's fine, don't worry about those tantrums. There will be a time when she be repaying us her debts. It was then a man hurriedly runs into the lobby. Arching his fist, sect leader, one of our inner core disciples by the name of Zhang Feng has returned with good news. He claims to have met a girl with the needed requirement. Going bright in the eye, the laid-back woman promptly got up, get him in here. Yes. The man retreats and soon brought the mentioned youngster inside. Originally Ling Qingcheng was still very much being excited at the good news, but upon seeing the gorgeous-looking woman that followed suit, her hands instinctively clenched into a tight ball. She has a shallow heart, always did. So, none of the females within the Sky Dragon Sect are exceptional by any standard. Now to have her limelight stolen in open sight, it's only to be expected she be mixed inside. One for needing Bai Yan to act as the imposter, the second of wanting to kick her out immediately. But that sort of thought quickly changed after her eyes fell upon Bai Xiachen and Ditsang. That said it all, she's completely enamored by their handsomeness. They're all here, too, just that this tyrant of a woman has been sick of the opposite after living for so many years. As such, her moment of astonishment only lasted for a brief second before returning to normal. These are Sect leader, Zhang Feng steps forward. This girl is my distant cousin. She had just arrived here today in order to visit me. I remembered leader's order and thought to bring her here for a try. Is she up to your satisfaction? Satisfaction? Of course not. She only tasked her people to find a beautiful woman. Never did she say anything about finding one this gorgeous. Sect leader. Just when Lang Qingchang was being indecisive on an answer, the man from earlier who came to report had rushed back over. The dragon girl is throwing a huge tantrum and making a ruckus. At this rate the premise will be destroyed. Bring the dragon girl over then. Tell her the one she's seeking has come. The woman orders, letting the situation decide for herself. Likewise, Bai Yan had no objection to this idea. She intends to have her son take Dragony away after she comes. As for herself and Ditsong, they will be slowly going over the accounts with these people afterwards. Miss Qingchang shifts her attention to Bai Yan. Presumably my disciples here have already told you the details on what you need to do. Aside from what you're told, I also need you to persuade the dragon girl to contract with me. If you complete the task, then I will have a hefty reward waiting for you. Giving a chuckle with her eyes narrowed into a slit, I know what to do. Of course I know what to do. You people cheated Dragony, then tried to impersonate me. When everything is over, I will make sure none of this remains. But, slightly frowning, a burst of doubt sprouts within Bai Yan's heart. Why is Dragony doing this? She knows how I look, so why did she have these people help her search without giving them a portrait? Good that you know it. Feeling mildly relieved, Ling Qingchang issues a long sigh. Hope today will be successful, then I can take in this dragon girl and make her mine. Soon a petite little figure had stepped through the sun-shrouded doorway of the main lobby, those eyes blinking with hopeful light. Likewise, Bai Yan had also turned around at hearing the sound of her steps, but what she saw wasn't exactly what she expected. It's not Dragony. I clearly gave her portrait to my two shifus. How can they find the wrong person? Queen. Elated in the face, the strange new girl threw herself over. Queen, these people really didn't deceive me, you are indeed here. Queen. Startled by this outburst, Ling Qingqing suddenly found unease in the unexpected situation. This dragon girl isn't just looking for any random woman, but also a member of the dragon clan, and the queen at that? Who are you? Taking 2 steps back at the pouncing girl, Bai Yan tightly furrows her brow as she asked. If she's not Dragony, then why is she looking for me? Miss Bai Yan. Snapping to attention, the mastermind of this all hurries to signal her supposed imposter. Sadly, Bai Yan acted like she didn't hear it all and continued to stare at the stranger that's clinging to her leg. Queen, it's Sister Dragony who had me come find you. The last purses her lip in a sad manner. Sister was taken away by the bad people because they wanted to catch me. Please Queen, go save Sister Dragony. They're all here. 3. Bai Yan's expression changed greatly after hearing that. Where did those people take her? They took her to the dragon clan's home. Where is the dragon's home? How do we get there? Dragony is so timid, she won't be able to help herself if anything bad happens. I must find her as soon as possible. I don't know. The little girl shakes her head with tears quickly swelling out. I don't know how to get back to my home. Originally Bai Yan was growing ever increasingly more frustrated, but against the tear-filled appearance of this one, she just couldn't do it. Sighing, son, go call Tsing Yi, I want to see her. If they want to find the home of the dragons that's living here in the misty fairy house, the quickest now would be to turn to another dragon. As it so happens, her azure dragon knows the way. Making a nod, Bai Xiaochen did as told and pulled out the communication in his possession. After a few words, Mother, Auntie Tsing Yi is already on her way. What the kid forgot to mention though was that it's not just one person who's coming, it's also her grandfather and his subordinates. Giving a slight nod in affirmation, son, take this little lady with you first. Okay. The little steambun's first instinct was to hold on to the other girl's hand before leaving, but at the thought of the social norm of a male and female not touching, he held off on the idea. Don't cry, my mother is here now. Your sister Dragony will be alright, so come with me while we wait. Wiping the tears from her cheek, the boy and girl quickly turned away for the doorway. Ling Qingchang could no longer keep still at this stage. Slamming her hand on the chair handle, she snaps to the one responsible for the mess. Miss, what is the meaning of this? It's I who should be asking you what's the meaning of having me impersonate myself. Impersonate myself? Freezing over in the face, what do you mean by those words? No response came, so the woman locked onto the disciple known as Zhang Feng. Didn't you say she's your distant cousin? Falling to his knees at being called out, the sneaky little thing trembled with horror as he scrambled his brain for an excuse. Explain yourself this instant. Where the hell did you find this woman? Those nails were quite literally scrapping against the brown hardwood, causing the room to screech with an irritable scratching noise. Sect leader, the youngster could barely make out his words from all the stuttering. I met her at the foot of the mountain. Idiot. Pung. Sweeping everything that's on the table to the floor, Ling Qingchang roars out, you idiotic thing, how could you not investigate the person first before bringing them inside our sect? And to have her pretend to be your distant cousin at that? After scolding Zhang Feng with her harsh words, the enraged woman now has her attention fully locked onto Ditsang and Bai Yan. Sneering sinisterly, but you really are foolish to come in person. Do you think my Sky Dragon sect is a place where you can freely walk in and out? Now that you're here, you can all forget about leaving. Swoosh. In an instant, countless people descends from the ceiling beams to surround the couple from all sides. Yen, Ditsang's gentle fingers caresses through those silken threads. Can I do it now? Faintly nodding, we've found the person, so go ahead. Although this girl isn't Dragony herself, but there's something good to the success. At least we now know where her whereabouts are. Bai Yan's eye began to narrow in as her menacing anger swelled from within. They're all here, wait for me. Ditsang's kiss gently falls onto his wife's lip, thus signaling his arm to loosen around that waist and the beginning of their end. For a moment there, under that oppressive aura and overwhelming galore of dominance, none dared to move. They just stared at him and unsure what to do. What are you all doing? Hurry and subdue him. Ling Qingchang snaps out at her people, that face showing utter dismay at the lack of compliance. To be clear, it's not that these people are unwilling to move, rather it's their legs aren't listening at all. Bang! Exploding with bloodthirst, those still struggling to lift their feet were instantly sent to the ground with blood drooling out of their mouth. Perhaps even in death, none of these poor souls would know why they've lost their lives, only that they did. Ling Qingchang completely froze over this scene. Moving her head mechanically upward to meet those murderous eyes, a gush of panic now grips that heart. You, she finally knew what fear was. In her haste, the woman attempts to retreat by crawling backwards. An elder from our Sky Dragon sect was recently taken in by the main house. If you make a move against me then you won't be escape death. The story went like this. When the previous head of this sect passed away, that mentioned elder wasn't around to step up to the post, hence the outcome of Ling Qingchang landing with the position. As for that senior, he continued to remain in closed-door training right up till he broke through into the monarch rank, where he was immediately snatched up by the elder council of the Misty Fairy House. Of course, the senior himself didn't object to the idea and gladly left of his own accord. So one of your elders are now part of the Misty Fairy House? Arching her brow, Bai Yan steps forward with the question, do call him, I would very much like to know which of those old farts are the one you've mentioned. Snickering with contempt at that proclamation, Ling Qingchang clearly didn't believe what she's heard. Humph, this woman makes it sound like she's seen the Elder Council before. You think getting an audience with the Elder Council is that easy? That you can do so on a whim? Bang! But before her mocking words could be finished, a wave of energy attacks her from behind, causing that already shaken body to fly forward like a ragged doll of spraying blood. At the same time, Bai Yan's feet steps down at the woman's chest after she landed right in front of herself. You don't seem to know the situation yet. Cocking her chin high, she smiles menacingly down at her captive. A prisoner should act like one, and right now you're my prisoner. There's plenty of time before Tsing Yi comes, more than enough room to get even with this one regarding her failed attempt at kidnapping the young girl who knew of Dragonis' whereabout, and also for trying to impersonate me. Poof. Spitting out another mouthful of blood at the increasingly painful pressure at her chest, Ling Ching-chong was distressed to discover she's unable to resist at all with her inner strength, not even enough to raise a hand. In this instant, this woman now knows why her subordinates couldn't a thing to these two individuals. Their strength has been directly sealed away by a far more superior power. They're all here. 5. Mildly smiling, Bai Yan increases the force in her foot. I gave you the chance to bring him here, but since you didn't grasp onto that opportunity. It was exactly at this moment a whistling roar from the outside rocked the room, thus causing all of the remaining disciples of this sect to come running out of their residences to find what's happening. To their shocking dismay, there's a ginormous dragon floating in the air. Dragon. How could there be a dragon? It can't be. Is it because of the dragon girl? This dragon is here for its kin. Hold on, how come there's a person in the dragon's paw? That man, it looks like Elder Wu Hao. Elder Wu Hao? Picking up that name when the commotion from the outside drifted over, Ling Ching-chang's near-hopeless gaze immediately lit up. Crying out like a mad animal, Elder Wu Hao, save me. Elder Wu Hao is here, I am saved. But before the woman's delightful surprise could last long enough, a powerful force had come striking down and ripped the roof apart. This allows her to see firsthand what's happening outside as well. There are currently two individuals standing atop of the dragon's back. One being a handsome-looking man of middle age while the second was a young girl with an extremely beautiful pair of eyes, not in the seductive style but rather the youthful and energetic type. Of course, Ling Ching-chong didn't pay any heed to the two because her focus was stolen entirely by the elder currently being held by the dragon's claw. If only she had taken a moment to analyze the image, then the woman would have realized this was very wrong for someone coming to her rescue. Elder Wu Hao not only came back, but also with a dragon. This time I am not only saved, I can also give these bastards a good lesson. Yet. When the senior himself saw what's happening down below, the image of Bai Yan stomping down at the supposed leader of his former sect, the person himself only showed a wry smile of disappointment. Lord Long Tian, can you let me down first? Humph. Snorting at the request, Long Tian, dragon, showed absolute disdain towards this human. If I wasn't in such a rush to meet Her Highness, would never bring this trash along. Without any politeness or care, the dragon tosses the elder down from the air before eventually flying down himself. Lord-in-law, princess, please take your time and do be careful. When facing his two riders, Long Tian, dragon chief, immediately changed his tune. There's respect and there's flattery. Even his body was groveling against the floor to make it easier for the pair to disembark. It couldn't be helped. Di Xiaowan was the princess of the demon realm while Yunfeng was Di Tsang's father-in-law. To this newly assigned chief of the dragon clan from the demon realm, it's his honor and not a disgrace. As for Wu Hao, the dragon chief thought nothing of this human and would absolutely not allow him to ride on his back. Therefore, the next best option was to take the person along by picking him up with the claw. And since the wind was so strong during the trip, mainly due to their intense speed, Wu Hao's hair was a disheveled mess. Oomph. Puking another mouthful of blood, Ling Ching-chong grew all excited at the presence of her supposed savior. Elder Wu Hao, the strength of this man is somewhat unusual, you better call your dragon to work with you in order to kill him. As the sect leader of the Sky Dragon sect, Ling Ching-chang's become accustomed to giving orders, so her first act was to demand the old-timer to act. Outrageous. Wu Hao snaps at the woman, you stupid wench. If I had known you would drag the Sky Dragon sect into a state of no return, then I never would have yielded the position of sect leader to you. They're all here. 6. An explosive bang rocked the woman's brain. Ling Ching-chong clearly didn't get what that remark implied. In hindsight, while the two were conversing, Long Tian's massive figure was now quickly shrinking from his original size through a transformation. Now standing there was a man wearing a golden robe. He looked very handsome, but compared to Di Tsang's peerless contour, he's definitely being overshadowed. I, Dragon Chief Long Tian, pays greeting to my king and queen. At the word, the dragon chief then takes the most solemn and respectful posture he could make for a person of the court. Freezing over in the face again, Ling Qingchang's quivering tongue could barely make out her following words. What's going on, Elder Wu Hao? Isn't this dragon your familiar? Our Sky Dragon sect is known for our ability to tame dragons. Shut up. Wu Hao flies into a rage. It's all because of you. Now the Sky Dragon sect will no longer exist. Everyone knows full well how much the young lord loves this newly recognized daughter of his. Now for someone to offend her at such timing, there's no way the main house would forgive this place. But before the ignorant woman could figure out what's happening, or what the meaning of the elder's words were, another bombshell of a stick had come smacking down to send her over the edge. To think that just because I haven't shown myself for many years now some upstart is having the audacity to pick on my daughter. When did my name Yunfeng become so insignificant? Daughter? Yunfeng? This man is the young lord of the Misty Fairy House. But when did he have a daughter? Yenner, Ditsang, the father casts a warm look at his daughter. Your grandfather has tasked me to come help you. We rushed ahead so the main group is still behind us, but if you have something to do then do go ahead. We will finish up here for you. Bai Yan nods at the generous offer and then exchanged a glance with her husband. Ditsang, let's go first. Sister-in-law. Seeing how the couple's about to leave again, Di Xiaowan hurriedly chased over from her spot. Wait for me, I also want to come. As soon as their figures were gone after disappearing in a flash of light, a raging ball of flame promptly shot down from above. In that instant, Ling Qingchang's entire existence was engulfed in flame. Ah! Despite the hair-raising scream of pain coming from inside that blazing inferno, none of the disciples dared to give a helping hand. In their minds, whatever aid they could muster paled in comparison to Elder Wu Hao's aid, and since the senior didn't move, they didn't move. Chief Long Tian, Yunfeng directs his attention to the dragon man. You said you have some business with the Sky Dragon sect, did you not? I'll wait till you're finished before I settle my score with them. With explicit permission to do as he please, the dragon chief promptly shifts his sarcastic gaze across the surrounding crowd of gathered disciples. It's sharp like the needle, making those present feeling extremely uncomfortable. I've heard before that you bunch here is spreading rumors about your founder taming a dragon, hence the Sky Dragon sect name? Upon seeing the confused and clueless expressions of these people, Long Tian knew the rumor surrounding the founding of this sect has been rewritten. Immediately, he bellows out a roaring laugh of irony. Good, very good. Have that bastard Mo Fei Chi come out and see me immediately. Mo Fei Chi? Elder Wu Hao popped his eyes wide, but Lord Long Tian, ancestor Mo Fei Chi, he's been dead for hundreds of years. Disaster befalls the dragon clan. Mo Fei Chi's leg had gone numb due to the fright he felt. If not for the fact that he wants to keep up his image and not destroy it completely, he would have crashed to the ground already. Even so, the disciples could clearly see how much fear their so-called founder was holding. Lord Long Tian, I'm only kidding, please don't take it too seriously. Making a smile that's uglier than a crying chimpanzee, this monkey still didn't understand what sort of event managed to lure this being out. And like a stone being tossed into a calm lake surface, ripples of amazement shook the crowd. Long Tian? Dragon Sky, isn't that the name of the dragon subdued by the founder back in his days? Why is he acting so fearful of his own familiar? Humph. The dragon chief huffs a grunt, his voice snarling with sarcasm. Kidding? If this was a joke, then why would the history texts be recorded like that? Kidding? To think this old fart would have the face to say that aloud. I also don't believe that this is just a careless joke. Yunfeng also decides to chime in then. There has been no less than a dozen times where I've heard the Sky Dragon sect flaunting to the outside about their history. And according to the textbooks, it specifically detailed Mo Fei Chi's grandiose venture in subduing over 1,000 dragons with his wits and then taming the leader of that pack. Longtian's complexion was growing more and more ugly by the second. Staring coldly at the monkey, no words were needed to describe the unbridled fury burning within those serpenty slits. Oh, Mo Fei Chi, how come I never knew you were besieged by 1,000 dragons? More like you were delusional enough to think you can subdue a dragon and got yourself enslaved instead. And by coincidence, I ended up leaving to the demon realm and allowed you to blemish my name over the years. How are you going to pay for the damages you caused to my name? The dragon chief's voice grew increasingly more aggressive, bordering on overbearing. The monkey, on the other hand, was doing the contrary. Growing smaller with each word, it's almost like he couldn't even breathe at this point. Since back in the day this sky dragon sect was already enslaved by me, I believe there is no need to keep this place around anymore. Whisking his sleeve in a wide arc, flames began to burst from the grounds up, thus engulfing the entire estate in a sea of fire. However, Long Tian will never kill the innocent. Aside from Mo Fei Chi and Ling Qing Chang, the rest of you are free to leave under the condition that none of you are to proclaim yourselves as the disciples of this sect. Also, if anyone asks of you about the history again, you must tell them the truth. Dragons are very prideful creatures, so there's no way he would allow false lies to continue to spread under his nose. No. The charcoal-looking Ling Qing Chang on the floor screams out, only to be sent tumbling back to the floor by the heat wave. Watching the fleeing disciples under her charge, you people can't go. Even if you do go, at least take me with you. Don't leave me behind. Unfortunately, none bothered to lend a helping hand and instead fled even faster. Finally, the only ones remaining were but a few individuals left on this estate. Aside from the two main criminals for this mess forcibly stayed by the dragon chief, there's also Elder Wu Hao who didn't move. Disaster befalls the dragon clan, too, Lord Long Tian. The monkey's face looked absolutely flustered. Over the years I have done nothing to harm the dragon race aside from taking your name for a little fun. Please, I don't deserve to die. Treat me like a fart if you must, but please release me, I beg of you. No, I have given you a chance before already and you didn't cherish it back then. Now don't blame me for what's to come. Long Tian sneered at the utter shameless appearance of his one-time servant. What's more, the one you offended today is the queen of my demons. Do you think out of personal and business reasons, I would let you go? Now prepare yourself and stop degrading what little face you have left. If not for this bastard tampering with the history of the Sky Dragon sect, then would his descendants believe they could tame us dragons? And if not for him, then would this Ling Qing Chang try to kidnap a member of the dragon race? And if not for him, would they offend Her Highness the Queen? Understanding there's no wiggle room or excuses, the monkey didn't think twice and made a hard dash for safer grounds. Sadly for him though, before he could even make it off the premise, a giant claw had come smashing down from the sky and squished him into a pancake. Based on how flat he's become, it's quite obvious he's most certainly dead and wouldn't be climbing back up. Lord-in-law, I have settled the matter here. It's time I go to the queen now. Turning around to face Bai Yan's father, this dragon chief exposes a genuine smile towards the man. Nodding in return, you go then. Very well, I will come pay another visit when there's time. Turning to leave, the dragon chief disappears in a blink of an eye over the horizon. He's been away from the misty fairy house for many years already, so Long Tian figured he should go visit his descendants now that he's returned to his birthplace. Meanwhile, back on the ground, Yun Feng himself was still floating heads over heels at what's unfolded so far. For one thing, never in his wildest dream did this man expect to be able to ride atop of a dragon, let alone get shown such high respect from one of the strongest warriors among that race as well. Young lord. Elder Wu Hao carefully arches his fist in submission, fully aware of his own awkward status. This elder's afraid the issue with the Sky Dragon sect would drag him into it as well. After all, he did hail from this power before joining the main house. If things don't turn out well, he might even get expelled from the Elder Council. Returning to attention over that call, Yun Feng soon found himself looking down at the smoldering Ling Qing Chang, who's very much incapable of getting up again lest someone tends to her burns. After today, the Sky Dragon sect no longer exists. Despite being a second-rate factionary power, in equal leagues to the mighty Demon Beast sect, it's still easily destroyed at the whim of others. Like now, they're non-existent after a single night. Done with giving his final verdict, Yun Feng figured there's no more need to stay and strolled for home. Before long, he too was gone from here, leaving only a huge burning pyre of ruins in this landscape that continued to burn for days on end before it eventually smoldered out. Disaster befalls the Dragon Clan, 3. the Dragon Clan's home of the human world lies in the northern part of the Great Ocean, where a huge mountain was submerged underwater and shielded by a spell matrix from the water. It's not that the dragons as a race feared water, they're perfected capable of living in the ocean. However, there are inconveniences that's unavoidable in that case. As such, most members of the clan preferred to stay on dry land while resting. Right now at this time within a dark damp cave, a very lovely and delicate-looking young Missy was currently being tied to a pillar, her cute big eyes showing stubbornness and anger against the taunting woman in front of herself. Little Missy, I mean you know Malice, but my family's old man misses his granddaughter dearly. It was not easy to find her, and because of you she's now gone. You must take responsibility for that. Hanging her head in defiance, Dragony tightens her hands until it's a ball. Why are you tying me up then if you mean no ill will? Moreover, those people you sent are clearly coming with malice. I will not believe in your words. Also, you better release me, otherwise the queen won't let you off when she finds me. Snickering at the threat, the woman hooks her finger around the Missy's chin to raise her face up. Queen? You mean one of those queens from the mainland? A measly human queen can't even be compared to a little sect from the human world. Why would I fear such an entity? Little Missy, you need to stop being so naive. Among the demon race here in the human world, none would call themselves as king or queen, mainly out of tradition passed on from ages past. Taken aback by the retort, but both the queen and prince are very strong, they will definitely come and save me. Prince? The woman's grin grew even deeper. I knew it, she's talking about some human. To be fair, this wasn't because the woman had an ignorant mindset, rather it's the fact that the demon realm has been sealed for thousands of years. Considering her appearance, this lady was at best a few centuries old. Little Missy, I don't want to hurt you, but if you continue to be disobedient then I will have no choice but to kill you. Afterwards I will go find Long Dai Dai myself. Taking out a dagger from her waist, the woman cracks a dangerous smirk as she grazed the surface of the girl's neck. Startled by this, Dragony herself was starting to fall into a panic. She's not afraid of death, but if she dies, it would mean this evil woman would start looking for Long Dai Dai again with even more force than the first time. After some thought, she bites her lip and spoke. What do you want me to do? Very simple, my old man has been yearning about his baby granddaughter for a long time now. Thankfully he's never seen that blasted girl yet. So, I want you to impersonate her. As for the ceremony to test your lineage, I will have my own means to pass that. Beaming a dangerous light in those pupils, a strong regret takes hold within this one's heart of not strangling her own niece at birth. Make no mistake, this evil woman was by every standard a dark one. She forged the baby's death in the public's eye and went through the trouble of tossing a helpless baby into the mountain range where many dangerous critters lived. What she didn't expect though was Long Dai Dai surviving and even managed to get the attention of her old man, hence the reason why this filthy woman volunteered for the mission of retrieving Long Dai Dai. She intends to use this opportunity to finish off the mistake she left behind years ago. Yet, the hurdles and troubles just didn't stop. Because of Dragony's sudden appearance, the target was lost and now this evil woman was left with an unknown girl that came out of nowhere. Of course, this wasn't all bad. It didn't matter who it was that she brought back, she just needed someone that she could control. And if I help you, does that mean you will leave Dai Dai alone? Dragony asks with a hint of doubt. That's right, the woman smiles. I, Lone You, will never go back on my words. If you do as I demand and pretend to be Dai Dai then I won't force that lass back into Dragon Clan. Disaster befalls the Dragon Clan, for, unfortunately, Dragony didn't notice the insidious light in the woman's eye due to her own woes about Long Dai Dai's safety, otherwise she would never waver in her decision. Gently nodding, okay, I agree only if you agree to leave Dai Dai alone. It didn't matter to this Missy anyways. To her, this promise would only be temporary until Bai Yen comes to her rescue. But, frowning, can you tell me what is that thing you used against me from before? Originally these people wouldn't have been able to catch her, however, it was during the critical moment that this woman here with the name Long Yu pulled out something and immobilized the Mrs. body. Fine. Actually, I don't know exactly what this thing is either. It was by coincidence that I got my hands on this item. Slightly narrowing her eyes in as she held the object up to shine against the light, rumor has it that this is a treasure handed down through the dragon clan, a drop of essence blood. Essence blood? Widening her eyes in astonishment, Dragony showed serious doubt at Lone Yu's claim. I don't know the origin of this blood either, probably something a former ancestor left behind. Can you let me see it then? After a second of hesitation, the Missy asked. Perhaps it's the successful negotiation, but Lone Yu didn't hold back and fruitfully popped the cork to the bottle holding said blood. In an instant, Dragony's body had frozen over due to the emotional feeling overwhelming her heart. To be clear, it's not the sort of limitation experienced by others of lower blood, rather it's of the heart. To describe this feeling would be difficult. There's worship, respect, and perhaps fear. Regardless of the reasoning, Dragony wouldn't be able to tell why she's being so emotional in her current state. You've seen it now, so eat this pill. Without giving the Missy any chance to refuse, Lone Yu promptly stuffed a round beady little thing into the girl's mouth. Are you wondering what I just fed you? I'll tell you. It's a type of poison I got from a human years ago. If you are obedient and do as I say, then I might just give you the antidote when my goal is achieved. However, if you don't obey though. Squinting her eyes dangerously, expect yourself and Long Dai's fate to be the same, and that is death. This young lass isn't as simple as her appearance implies. I must be precautious. Lone Yu still hasn't forgotten their first meeting. Regardless of whichever warrior from her clan it was, they would all inexplicably fall unconscious when attacking this girl. If not for the essence blood in her possession, Lone Yu too would have fallen. Dragony on the other hand didn't give much of a reaction to the open threat. In her mind, Bai Yen was omnipotent, so the poison didn't hold much meaning aside from a little inconvenience. What do you want me to do for you? Biting her lower lip, the Missy puts on a stubborn face. If you want me to hurt Dai's grandfather, then I won't agree. That's even if you poison me, I won't help. Disaster befalls the dragon clan. 5. Dai is my good friend, so a good friend's grandfather is also my grandfather. I cannot harm my good friend's family. Rest assured, that old man is my Shifu, so how can I bring harm to him? Twirling the strand of hair in her fingers, Lone Yu makes a genuine smile of resentment. I need him to nod in agreement in making my husband the dragon chief. That Xing Yi is already gone for 100 years, it's time someone stepped up to the plate. The position of chief has been vacant for many years, yet her Shifu continued to wait for someone that's not around anymore. For someone like Lone Yu, whose husband was the closest to grasping onto that post, there's bound to be some friction brewing. After all, that old man was now the only obstacle remaining to obstruct the couple from reaching their goal, because the stamp seal has been hidden away. Even if the other elders agreed, it didn't matter without the precious item. Thinking about this, Lone Yu's face started to steam. That old thing would rather help outsiders than to help his own. Why must we wait for that bitch Xing Yi to return? Everyone knows it was her who was behind that incident years ago, yet the old thing refuses to listen to reason. I am his only heir now after his son died. I deserve what he has. Grinding her teeth, the woman grew vicious. Now your job is to win his trust and to find out where he hid the stamp seal. Once I get my hands on it, then my husband can become chief, and you shall be rewarded with status and power far beyond whatever that human queen can give you. Us dragons should never submit to those useless mortals, understand? You mustn't talk bad about Her Highness. Exploding like someone that's eaten a firecracker, the queen is the nicest and kindest person in the whole wide world. It's the dragon clan who doesn't deserve to follow the queen, not the other way around. Going stiff in the face, Lone Yu was very aggravated by this blatant display of defiance. If not for the usefulness of the young Missy here, she would have slapped the girl across the face already. I'm only blabbering a few words of complaint, why are you so bothered by it? I won't permit anyone to insult the queen. If you say another word about her, then I won't help you. Just poison me to death if you must. You, the woman almost turned livid at being threatened instead. As the old saying goes, the little ones are the easiest to manipulate. However, they're also the easiest to throw a tantrum and could be quite stubborn at times. Okay, I won't talk bad about your queen anymore. Is that good with you? Inhaling deeply, the woman collects her thought. prepare yourself, I will take you to meet the old man today. Just wait until I get my hands on the stamped seal, I will deal with you then. Cutting apart the ropes binding Dragony to the rock, Lonyu gestures for them to leave the cave. Someone come. Take her to change out of these clothes, and also go inform the old man that we found his granddaughter. Along the coastline of the Northern Sea, Bai Yen has her gaze fixed onto the vast body of water that's seemingly endless to the naked eye. Batty father, mother, are we not going to keep moving? Bai Shechen's face was full of doubt as he looked up to his parents. Tsing-yi, give me the herbs my father had you bring along. Mistress, are you going to refine the medicine to heal my injuries now? Lighting up in the face, the dragoness asks with hope in the voice. I and the dragon clan here have a lot of debt to go over. Dragony is the first one, you are the second reasoning. Showing a dangerous smile that she meant business, son, take Dai with you and go find Dragony. I need to upheaval this entire North Sea, so I'll leave that task to you. Disaster befalls the dragon clan. 6. If the other side were to be humans, then Bai Yen would perhaps be worried. However, dragons are also demons at the core, meaning the effect of the boy's lineage also applies. Well, that was unless the foe started using clone substitutes, then that would be an issue. Thankfully this wouldn't be a problem since the dragons in the human world aren't that powerful, nor do they possess the needed knowledge to perform such a skillful art. Okay, said the little steambun with the biggest grin that could come of a sly fox. Dai, come, we will go find Dragony on our own. Like a clever little girl, Long Dai followed the kid from behind despite the nervousness in her eyes. Deetsong, turning to her husband now, refining an 8th grade Dan pill will cause an alchemic trial, I need you to help me. All smiles, the possessive man didn't miss the opportunity to use this chance to embrace his wife and to give her a peck on the cheek. I won't let any of the thunder strikes get past me. This, Bai Yen rubs her chin like she's thinking up something evil. If you can raise up a storm with the lightning bolts, then that would be even better. And sure enough, without any deviating from the script, Deetsong readily complied with the idea. To this great demon lord, his wife's demand was his joy. Don't worry, I'll help you. At that, Bai Yen exhales a long sigh of relief. Taking the herbs from Tsing Yi's hand, she tosses her cauldron out towards the body of water. Amazingly, the thing didn't sink into the sea and instead floats steadily atop of the surface. With her strength, refining an 8th grade Dan pill wasn't an issue. She's already done that before, so it's a proven experience. The main problem lies in those thunder strikes. It's much stronger than the average type for some reason. Very soon as time ticked along, a faint fragrance could be picked up from the floating cauldron where the expected storming clouds would soon appear from. Boom! The sea grows more turbulent by the second as the raining bolts of electricity began to rain. Despite this threatening display of might from the world, a silvery and purplish figure remains unmoved standing in front of the woman. Perhaps it's the oppressive might or just the daggering eyes that could rip the sky asunder, but not even the lightning bolts dared to draw close to this man. Instead, they're all falling directly into the ocean. By this point Tsing Yi could hardly keep her mouth from gawking. This dragoness knew her mistress's husband was very strong, but not to such a degree even the heavenly thunders are afraid of him. Dragon Mountain. The whole mountain range was shaking profusely under the might of the force coming down from the sky, causing the residences here to flee in panic in all direction. What's happening? Why are lightning strikes coming down at our home? We dragons have always kept to ourselves and never trespassed into the outer world. It must be that woman Tsing Yi again. She must have caused this by violating the laws of the heaven. That's why these lightning bolts are hitting our home, it's punishment for her transgression. Many of the dragons grew furious at the thought. In their mind and belief, Tsing Yi colluded with outsiders in order to harm their clan back then, and now she's also bringing calamity to them once again. However, maybe it's the rage and urgency of the situation, but they apparently forgot something crucial to their theory. If it's because of Tsing Yi, then why would the lightning strikes hit them at the Dragon Mountain? No, something's not right about this lightning trial. One of the more senior of the dragons here stood out to speak. Frowning, this is more like a human trying to refine an 8th grade Dan pill, it's not the same. Unfamiliar teen, 1, 8th grade Dan pill? Who is so bold to try something like that within the range of our home? Let's go. I like to see who has the audacity to pull something like this near the Dragon Mountain. Another elder speaks up, his eyes glowing red from anger. It looks like just because us dragons haven't been out for so long that others are holding us in contempt. We will show that human alchemist what it means to earn the ire of those whom they shouldn't mess with. When the senior's words came out, others quickly came in support. Eventually one of them had come before the spell matrix holding up the barrier that's in charge of keeping the underwater mountain secluded from the outside world. After a few hand gestures, the barrier was released. Unbeknownst to these lizards though, right when the spell matrix was lifted, two little fellas had snuck into their home using this opening. Back over at the shoreline, the entire landscape was now searing hot under the intense heat wave created by the steaming water. And like before, Deetsung stands ready to fend off any harm that might come his wife's way. For example, when one of the boiling bubbles popped and released a splattering burst of burning sprinkles into their path, the man immediately blocked it with a whisk of his sleeve. Arg! Suddenly, a raging howl of anger explodes from under the water, causing everyone to shift their gaze over to said patch of water. Tsing-yi. When the group of dragons emerged from underneath and saw the familiar woman, their first reaction was to call out her name. You traitor, how dare you return? In light of the expressionless face she's making, the dragoness's tightly held fist said it all. For this once proud member of this clan, Tsing-yi couldn't say she's without feelings for them. However, her present loyalty lies with Bai Yen now. If there's someone she needs recognition from, then it's from her. Impudent. Goldie flies into a rage, roaring out, how dare you speak to Mistress Tsing-yi like that? Humph, sneering, the senior dragon leading the charge snickers derisively. It seems Tsing-yi isn't the only traitor around here. You two younglings are also part of her. There's fire in both Goldie and Silvery sigh now over that comment. Yet, when they wanted to attack, it was Tsing-yi who stopped them by holding up a hand. Step down, she orders with a stern voice. Though unwilling, both of these young dragons would never disobey the dragoness. Returning to their original post, they acted like two guardian gods, one to the right and one to the left. Elder Longheng, Elder Longyan, this time I returned is because the clan took away one of my mistress's people. We are here to take her back. The one she must get payback on wasn't present, so Tsing-yi didn't want to spend too much time dealing with these members of her former clan. Longheng guffawed a laugh at that. Tsing-yi, you have already recognized a human as your liege, do you still deny being in collusion with their kind? Also, we do not have the person whom you want. If you think you can use such an excuse to get into the dragon clan to harm us again, then think again. Unfamiliar teen, too, the senior's voice was full of anger and his eyes beaming with killing intent. Fortunately, we have already rearranged the great barrier around the Dragon Mountain. Even if you do want to enter, you won't be able to. Then after his proud speech, Longheng shifts his attention to Deetsung and Bai Yen. Since the two of you have the nerve to come make trouble for us dragons, then you don't need to leave either. Originally Deetsung wouldn't have bothered to instill his ire upon some clowns, but this was his wife they're talking about. That's a huge taboo in front of this great demon lord. Turning to face these couple of old seniors, the man's gaze was overbearing and horrific upon contact. Pretty much it's chilling to the bone, like he's death incarnate itself. For the two leading seniors like Longheng and Longyan, they both gasped at the incredible level of pressure coming their way. As for the other followers that joined in on this witch hunt, they weren't so fortunate. As weaker beings compared to the two, they couldn't resist that intense aura and promptly collapsed to the ground like someone just swatted them to the floor. If you won't let me and my queen leave, then as the king, it's only proper I comply with those beneath myself. Now I won't leave even if you beg me to go. You, Longheng shuddered, his eyes looking up in horror. This man, he's not human. What's more, his identity within the ranks of the demons must be extremely high, otherwise why would his bloodline pressuring be so strong? You are, from the demon realm? As one of the oldest ones here, Longyan did have some more insight regarding the other realms. What? Longheng exclaims over his partner's words, he's from the demon realm? Impossible, why would someone like that appear here of all places? And how did he get involved with Tsing-yi, that traitor? Emotionless in his face still, I did not intend to meddle with the affairs of this dragon clan, nor do I care. However, Tsing-yi is my queen's people, and she has some business to settle with you lot. King. Queen. Everyone, including those clueless to Di Tsang's identity, was shaking tremendously, one for his immense power and the others for his status. Others may not know this, but the two leading dragons here definitely did. No one within the demon race was permitted to proclaim themselves as king or queen, the only exception being the royal family currently residing in the demon realm. Finally, it was then a faint voice rang out from the side. Showing a satisfied smile, Bai Yan removes the lid from her cauldron and tosses the precious pill over to Tsing-yi. Eat this now and activate your energy to circulate the effects across your entire body. It will slowly help you heal those injuries. Thank you, mistress. Taking the medicine with elation in her voice, mistress, shouldn't we go search for your people first? I can take this medicine later if we need to. That's not a problem, Xiaochen will be able to locate Dragony on his own. Arching a brow, and, the sooner you take this medicine the better. The effects will be more prominent this way. Tsing-yi didn't hesitate any longer after hearing those words. Crossing her legs, the dragoness's aching body gradually began to recover. Unfamiliar teen, 3, Yen, what do you want me to do with these people? Raising a seductive smirk, Di Tsang once again wounds that perverted hand around his wife's waist with a good part of it touching her butt. I want to know what happened back then. Who is it that framed Tsing-yi as a traitor? All cold in her face, Bai Yan asks. Longhang shuddered again at the eye contact. Us dragons didn't frame Tsing-yi, she colluded with the human and wanted to betray the clan. Is that so? Then I want to ask, did your people suffer any harm so far? Then how about the evidence? Did you witness firsthand Tsing-yi conspiring with another to harm the clan? The dragons were all quiet at this point. They couldn't argue with Bai Yan's logic. Tsing-yi never harmed any of the other dragons like she said, nor did the woman show any signs of plotting something devious. Just that, the relationship between the mentioned human was far too close to her for being mere acquaintances, hence their skeptical belief. To be perfectly honest, not even these dragons here knew why they're acting this way aside from their inherent dislike of humankind. Hubby, Bai Yan makes an unreadable smile at her man. How come I didn't know us humans have such a notorious reputation among the demon race? By merely being in contact with one is considered a traitor? If that's so, you marrying me is equivalent to betraying the entire demon realm, is that not so? Originally the great demon lord was heads over heels at being addressed in that manner, but at hearing the dangerous implication of his wife's words, he immediately grew stiff and used his killing aura to cover the entire group of impudent lizards. Who would dare? The entire demon realm is yours, so that doesn't stand. Under that intense stare, Longhang could literally feel his hair raising up from his skin. As a result, this old dragon didn't even want to meet that gaze and hung his head as low as possible in order to reduce his own existence. Longyan on the other hand wanted to explain some more, unfortunately for them though, right before he could utter a single word, a loud whistling sound cuts him off and out came a booming figure of a golden dragon quickly closing in the distance from afar. This creature was very large, much larger than any of the dragons here. And when he arrived to transform into his human form, the man promptly got onto his knees to pay respect to Di Tsang. King, Queen, your loyal retainer Long Tian is here to pay his utmost respect and to report that the matter with the Sky Dragon sect is now resolved. The two elders of the dragon clan started to stare wide-eyed at each other. There's shock, but mostly it's disbelief at who they're seeing. Ancestor Long Tian? Didn't Ancestor Long Tian go to the demon realm? How come he's back here in the human world? And he's so respectful to them? It can't be, these two are really royalty from the demon realm? All of you've got some guts now, to think you bunch would start taking the queen's people when I'm not around. Sneering in his face, Long Tian scans the group that's either sprawling on the shore or in the water. Wiping some of that sweat, Longhang wanted to explain, but we haven't taken anyone. It's been many years since we went outside. The queen's people aren't human, she's a dragon like us called Dragony. If you really did take her 10, bring her out immediately. Dragony? Both elders exchanged a look, their voices spluttering. Ancestor, the clan doesn't have anyone by that name, you sure, you're not mistaken? Long Tian. Just when the dragon chief wanted to continue his reprimanding words, Bai Yen has had enough and decides to join in. Leave them be, my son will find Dragony. When Xing Yi's injury is healed and the kid's back here with us, I will personally go over the accounts with these dragons. Unfamiliar teen. 4. Bai Yen doesn't care whether or not these people were blindsided by the mastermind behind Xing Yi's bad name, nor does she care if they know where Dragony was right now. All she knows was that they won't get away for what they've done so far. Dragon Valley. Right at this time a small little head was sneakily scurrying about behind the rocks. Only by seeing there's no other people around did he wave at the girl behind himself to come over. Die, hurry and keep up with me. Giving a clever nod in response, the little lady hurries to skimp over while keeping a tense awareness of her surroundings. But Prince, puckering her lips, Long Die appears troubled by their behavior. Didn't the queen mention that you're able to make all demons surrender under your bloodline? Why do we have to hide like this? Stupid. The little steambun shoots an exasperated stare at the girl. Dragony is in their hands. What if they use her to threaten me before I can save her? First we must rescue her, only then can I feel at ease. Bloodline pressuring could most certainly halt the actions of other demons, but that method would never be able to make the other side willingly submit. In that case, his best choice would be to secure the hostage before letting loose. Careful. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps could be heard coming from the side, causing the little steambun to grub onto the girl's shoulder and drag her back behind the rocks. This time Miss Longyu has done a great achievement, to think she would be able to locate the first elder's long-lost granddaughter. Ever since the elder's son and daughter-in-law passed away, the child's been the elder's only concern. One of the two ladies coming over says, totally unaware of the fact that there's two snooping kids right around the corner. I know, right? If I remember correctly, the granddaughter is called Long Die. Because of her, Miss Longyu is now back in favor after almost losing it entirely before the elder's presence. Long Die. Bai Shechen became stunned by the name. Pausing to think it through, the boy blankly turns to the little lady beside himself. Likewise, the girl herself was also in a stunned state. But I am Long Die. How come the dragon clan also have a Long Die? Musing over what to say next, do you know why those people wanted to find you in the first place? I don't know. She shakes her head like a rocking drum. It was Sister Dragony who saved me, then she gotten taken away by those bad people. This news immediately caused the little steambun to light up in the eyes. I understand then. Die, can you do me a favor? Having said that, Bai Shechen then whispered something into the girl's ear. Nodding hard in return, Long Die immediately stood up from behind the rock and chased after the two ladies who's now walked past them. Right away, the girl pretends to have accidentally crashed into one of the females. The maid in pink swings around angrily after being attacked. To her surprise, despite the initial urge to yell out in curses, an adorable-looking pair of eyes had met her own, causing that heart to melt away. I am sorry. Long Die timidly lowers her head in apology. I didn't mean to. Collecting herself, the maid in pink quickly changes her tune at this picture. Little girl, whose child are you? Don't you know it's reckless to run around like this? Pursing her lip in a pitiful manner, I heard the first elder's granddaughter has been found, so I got curious and wanted to come see. But when I came around here, I realized I forgot the way to the elder's courtyard. Big sister, can you tell me how to get there? Unfamiliar teen. 5. The maid in pink breaks out into laughter at the frank answer. There aren't as many rules within the dragon race, so she readily pointed in the needed direction. From here, go forward 300 meters. Afterwards turn right and you will find the first elder's courtyard. But whether or not the elder will see you is his choice, little girl. I won't be able to help you there. Thank you, sister. Showing a sweet innocent smile, Long Die shot a glance back to the rock behind herself before seemingly running off in the referred direction. After the two ladies left, Bai Shechen figured it's safe now and came out as well. He didn't waste any time and chased after his friend that went ahead. Back over in the First Elder's courtyard, a big gathering was taking place, many showing heartfelt smiles or making flattering congratulatory messages. Congratulations to First Elder, you've finally found your granddaughter. In particular is how beautiful this Dai Dai is. She will certainly become the #1 beauty of our clan when she comes of age. Compared to Tsing Yi from 100 years ago, she will surpass her and more. In the face of all those compliments, the First Elder only retained a blooming smile on his wrinkly old face. It's been hard the senior turns to his disciple, if not for you, I fear me and Dai Dai would never be able to meet in this life. Returning a shallow smile of her own, the wretched Long Yu had no shame in what she said in return. Oh Shifu, for you, I will go through a mountain of knives and walk through fire if I have to. I know you have some misconceptions of me before, but now I've thought it through. From now on I will listen to Shifu's word. Hearing the kidnapping woman's lies and deceits, the First Elder definitely relaxed somewhat inwardly. Perhaps I really misunderstood her. First Elder, you really took a wonderful disciple. I heard in order for Long Yu to find your granddaughter, she had to fend off multiple powerful humans during the rescue effort and even nearly lost her life in the process. Where would one find another wonderful apprentice like so? Of course, these flattering words and stories were spread by Long Yu herself. There's not an ounce of truth in them. Nevertheless, it doesn't change the fact that the shameless woman was delighted to hear it in earshot because it shows how trustworthy she was in front of the old man she's trying to sweeten up for the upcoming scheme. Compared with the lively scene out here though, Dragony on the other hand didn't show herself and kept to her room after meeting the First Elder. Perhaps it's the part of herself that didn't know how to confront Dai Dai's grandfather, but the Missy felt wrong seeing the senior using her friend's identity. Who? It was then a sudden noise from the outside causes her to jerk up in alarm. Who is outside the door? Creak following the opening of the door, an unfamiliar teenager walks in. Fair-skinned with a thin eyebrow, this young man wasn't gorgeously handsome by any means, yet he's still quite the looker for his standard. You're not a dragon, who are you? Dragony frowns and asked with intrigue. I'm here to take you away, the boy's voice was crisp and sound. Take me away? Blinking her big blue eyes in confusion, Dragony eyes the human teenager with curiosity. Why would you take me away? I know you are not Long Dai Dai but rather a stranger kidnapped by Long Yu. I don't care what sort of backgrounds you have nor does it matter to me, I only want to go against that Long Yu. A flash of rage flickers with the youngster's eye. I've been lurking here in the dragon's home for over a century. Now that I've gathered enough evidence, it won't be long before I confront her. Until then, I will send you away first. Unfamiliar teen, 6, I won't go, someone will come save me. Dai Dai should have informed Her Highness by now. What if she comes after I leave? Besides, I won't be in any danger for now while staying in this place. Why should I follow a stranger and leave? Are you stupid? The teenager huffs and puffs. This dragon mountain is underwater and sealed within a barrier. Who is going to come save you? Swinging her head to one side, the Missy gets stubborn with those puckering lips. She is very strong, so I'm going to wait for her to come find me. How can you be so stubborn? The youngster stomps his feet in frustration. What I'm going to do next is to expose you as a fraud and not the First Elder's granddaughter. Do you think the dragons here are going to let you go afterwards? He doesn't want to involve the innocent, that's why he's here to bring the Missy away before it's too late. What he didn't expect though was the stubborn nature of this lady. Hey, Dragony suddenly turns back to the teen with curiosity. Little brother, can you tell me why you want to deal with the dragon clan here? Do you have some sort of grudge against them? Taken aback by the sudden change of topic, the teenager lowers his head in contemplation. Moments later, he quietly mutters the answer. Truth is, I'm waiting for someone. Is it little brother's lover? No, the teenager shakes his head in denial. She's a good friend of mine. Back then we would talk about anything and traveled the world in good company. Then one day one of the dragons here framed her, saying she colluded with me and intended to plot against the dragon clan. How ridiculous, I never wanted to harm them or anyone for that matter. In the end, those old bastards believed those lies and betrayed my friend. They wanted to kill her. Slowly closing his eyes, the teenager revealed the sort of long-standing pain that could only come of someone whom lost an important friend. I want to avenge her, make those people who hurt her pay the price and to make those old bastards regret what they done. Showing a razor-sharp glare upon opening his eyes again, this man intends to see through his resolve to the end. That person, are they related to Longyu? Pursing her pink little lips, Dragony asks inquisitively. Yes, it's Longyu and her husband who framed her. Their aim is to kill her and then take over the position as the chief. The teenager's face grew cold and seething. So, can you leave this place now? I don't want to hurt any innocent in my plan. This lass is also a pitiful being. First she was kidnapped by Longyu here, then she was forced to take up another's identity. The least I should do for someone like this is to get her out of here before things blow up. In light of the good reasoning, Dragony remained stubborn in that shaking head. I won't go. Little brother, you don't have to worry about me, Her Highness will come for me and she can also help you. The teenager makes an impatient frown. Do you not understand my words? No one can come here to the Dragon Mountain. How are they supposed to save you when they're unable to come? If you want to live, then the only way is to leave. That won't be. Her Highness is the greatest, there's nothing she can't do in this world. Sparkling with light in those eyes, Dragony showed worship when thinking of Baiyan's face. This immediately causes the teen to deepen that frown until it's bordering on the level of anger. Slowly coming forward, if you won't listen to reason, then I can only do this. Forgive me. Right when that hand was about to strike down at the girl's neck to knock her out, a loud bang from behind blows the door open. Immediately, a childish and angry voice cuts in to bring them to attention. Stop it. What are you planning to do to Dragony? Pung. And before any reaction or explanation could be given, a brick had come flying over from the door and landing directly onto the teen's forehead like a missile. This promptly left a gash on that head and a long line of blood trickling downward. Bai Shechen's here. Prince? Watching that little boy wearing the purple brocaded robe, Dragony could no longer hold back her emotions and threw herself into those arms. Your Highness, I knew you would come save me, I just knew it. Those bad people bullied me. Wohu, despite the strong front this little missy was trying to portray, she soon fell into a sobbing fit after not finding Baiyan's presence. Where's Her Highness the Queen? Bai Shechen had never been very good with the opposite sex's tear. Instead of reprimanding the girl like he initially wanted to do, he started to flail his hands around wildly in the air because he was failing miserably at comforting this lass. Don't cry anymore, my mother has something to deal with, so she'll be running late. Come with me, we're leaving now. Taking Dragony's hand, the little steambun forcibly heads for the door without giving anyone a chance to refute his decision. Perhaps it's the fact that there's someone she knows here now, or it's just that the other person was Bai Shechen, but the missy was no longer acting wayward or stubborn like earlier. Now, there's only a well-behaved little girl following orders, a sharp contrast to her usual behavior. Meanwhile in the back, the teenager was gawking his eyes out at this picture to the point where he's forgotten the pain on his forehead. How come this lass wasn't this timid and well-behaved when I was talking to her? Wait a minute. Suddenly realizing what they're doing, the teen hurries to stop them. Meeting the teen's gaze after turning around, Bai Shechen was the first to speak. What do you want? If you are planning to bully Dragony again, then think again. No, the teen shakes his head. I don't know how you slipped in here, but it's not that simple for you to leave. Don't worry though, I have a way to get all of you out of here without being detected. Puckering his lip to one side like an adult, the little steambun clearly didn't believe that. Mother said nothing is ever free in this world, especially the kind that comes out of nowhere. We are not related or anything, why should I believe you? The teen became gobsmacked by this retort. He never thought this kid would be even more difficult to work with than the girl. What's more, Bai Shechen shows off a brilliant smile that only got improved by his innocent yet dazzling grin. When did I say I want to sneak out of the Dragon Clan's home? Dismayed by the comment, the teen didn't know what to make of this. If this kid isn't here to take the girl away, then what is he doing here for? You didn't come to save her? He points his finger in a dumbfounded manner at the girl before turning it back to the kid in an accusing manner. I did come to save Dragony. The little steambun raises his hand and the girl's up to show they're together. However, she's been wronged by these lizards, so I will get them back for her. When the boy made that claim, there's a beam of conviction that suddenly surfaced and blinded the teen's perception of what a young child should be. Even so, the stranger still wasn't convinced and wanted to grab onto the kid's shoulder to stop him. "Little guy, don't be impulsive, these dragons are all very powerful. With your meager strength, you won't be able to deal with them." He honestly didn't want to see a young child running off to certain doom. But before anything could be done, Bai Xiachen had already run out of the room with the girl in tow. "Dragoni, you wait here for me with Dai Dai." Despite his young age, the kid was already showing the dominance of what's needed to be a true king like his old man. Releasing a strangely intense aura that felt threatening while also weak at the same time, "All of you lizards living here in the Dragon Mountain, get your butts out here this instant." Back over in the rear, the teen was nearly in tears due to the audacity of the boy. He could barely keep his legs straight at the moment. How can this kid do something so crazy? He's summoning everyone here at once. The essence blood of the ancient dragon, 1. At this moment inside the courtyard, the first elder was currently combing through that beard with his hand as he scanned the guests in front of himself. This time it really is thanks to you, but if you want to let your husband Xiang Luo become the chief, I'm afraid that won't do. I must wait for Tsing Yi to come back. I must hear her explanation in person." Back then when Tsing Yi was being called out as a traitor, he himself had been in closed-door training. Therefore, by the time he came out and realized what's happened, it's too late to change anything. But that doesn't mean he's willing to believe everything the others has to say about the woman. He's the first elder and he has a duty to listen to the whole story, regardless of what others thought. Until then the position as chief will stay empty. Despite the inner anger swelling up like a volcano, Longyu kept her smile intact aside from growing slightly stiff in the face. "Shifu, I understand." "It's good that you understand." The first elder sighs in relief. For this disciple of his, he still holds some hope and many feelings. As such, he couldn't just allow her to take the wrong path without so much as trying to correct her. Suddenly, a childish and dominating voice echoes through the air, pulling all of these guests to attention. "All of you lizards living here in the Dragon Mountain, get your butts out here this instant." Due to this shout, the entire courtyard had fallen into a deadly silence. Eventually the more senior dragons had come back to their senses from the initial shock. Roaring out, "Who dares to come make trouble at the dragon's home? Their clan has settled here in the North Sea for over 1,000 years. This would be the first time someone has the audacity to openly provoke them at the Dragon Mountain." No wait, why do I feel like this voice is coming out from Miss Dai Dai's room? First elder, it can't be, did something happen to her? Wah. In his frantic response, the first elder nearly fell to the floor after losing his balance. If not for the chair handle nearby, he wouldn't even be able to get back up. Nevertheless, the frightening white on his old wrinkly face indicated how much panic he truly felt at the forethought of losing said granddaughter. "Someone come, hurry and follow me to protect Dai Dai." His son and daughter had died several years ago due to some unexpected circumstances. Now the only reason he's even willing to continue living was this grandchild of his after learning of her existence through some coincidental means. While the elder and his men's running steps went at a fast pace, Longyu on the other hand didn't move as swift. In fact, her eyes showed a frosty glint while following slowly from behind. Xiang Luo had come beside his wife without anyone noticing. Showing a dark expression, "Are you sure that girl you brought back is going to be fine? Did you investigate her background and made sure she doesn't have backing?" Longyu makes a snickering click at her husband's cowardice. Nothing but a dragon who surrendered under a human's will. What sort of backing could she possibly have? Humans? Xiang Luo asks with an open frown. That's right. The woman is only a concubine of some royal palace, an existence even lower than those third-rate factions in the human world. Compared to our clan, they can't even be called adversary. Then I can rest at ease. The man exhales a sigh before making an approving smile at his wife. Back then it was not easy to drive away that Tsing Yi. I don't want to have any unexpected changes during this crucial timing. It's good that you didn't bring back the real Dai Dai, otherwise who knows if things would get out of our hands or not. The essence blood of the ancient dragon, too. Longyu did not give a response to her husband's word. Instead, she raises a smirk and headed in the direction of everyone else. Due to the depths of the ocean water, there aren't much light capable of penetrating down underneath. Even so, there's just enough of the sun's ray to glisten off of Shechen's cute little face when he's sitting down. Little guy, are you really not wanting to live? The teenager eventually came back to his senses due to being overwhelmed by the kid's audacity. Sweating and growing more anxious at the eagerly sound of incoming footsteps, you three run first when they come, I will come up with an idea and stall them here. Blinking his big blue eyes, Shechen turns around in great surprise by what he's heard. Why are you helping us? The teen makes a bitter smile. I have a vendetta with the dragons here, and this little lass was forcibly brought here by them. Even if it's only to ruin Longyu's plan, I will still save her. This time the little steambun didn't speak, a rare thing considering his character, and instead leaned that chin against his hand in contemplation. Clack clack clack. Very soon, a group of people, both elderly and young, had come running over. Die. The first elder went ghostly white at the sight of Dragony holding hands with the strange boy. Hurry Die, come over to Grandpa's side. Rather than obeying, Dragony shook her head and remained firm to the spot. I am not Long Die. What did you say? The senior turned stiff at the answer, his face showing an ugly expression like he's going to faint or throw up. Die, please don't scare your grandpa here. Come to my side so I can protect you. Good grandfather, I am really not your granddaughter. Pulling the younger lass behind herself out to show everyone, Dragony intends to let them all see who's the true one. My name is Dragony and my friend here is the real Long Die. Earlier when we were doing the blood test to check on my lineage, Longyu had swapped out Dai's blood during the procedure, that's why it came out positive. Shuddering at this revelation, the first elder then shifts his attention over to the indicated lass. In that instant, his pupils dilated inwards due to the shock of what he saw. Clothes, they look so much alike. The little girl and my daughter-in-law look too much alike. Die. Are you Die? The senior's voice sounded shaky like he couldn't believe reality. Stumbling forward, the first elder wanted to get closer so he could give the one a hug. Perhaps the situation was too sudden, or perhaps the girl's personality simply fell into the timid side, but Long Dai didn't meet what her grandfather wanted and instead scurried right behind Dragony in order to hide herself. I never had a name before, peering part of her head out, there's a hint of hope and curiosity in the little girl's eye, but not long ago a bad woman wanted to catch me. She called me Long Dai, that's how I came to know my name. I also grew up without family. Are you my grandfather? Bursting out into tears at this point, the first elder felt like someone's ripped out his heart at knowing his poor grandchild's been all alone through the years. Good child, I'm your grandfather, I'm so sorry I haven't found you sooner. And I'm so sorry for not recognizing you immediately. To think my foolish self could mistake someone else for you. Anne. Longyu. Suddenly, a burst of anger erupts out of the senior's heart after remembering who's the main cause for this mess. Literally spewing flames in his eyes, Longyu, get over here this instant. The wretched woman and her husband had just arrived outside the place when she overheard this enraged voice in the air. Though slightly unsettled inside, Longyu still passed through the gathered crowd to come before her mentor. The essence blood of the ancient dragon, 3, Longyu didn't take much effort to notice Long Dai who was hiding behind Dragony's back after she arrived. Gritting her teeth, you. How come you are here? Didn't I tell you you're not the one our clan is looking for? Why do you keep insisting you are the one? Our Dai is right here so you should leave before you get yourself in further trouble. At that, the wretched woman then turns back to her mentor, Shifu, this lass is delusional. She kept trying to impersonate your granddaughter when I was out for my mission, also she could become someone important. Unfortunately, the first elder apparently didn't buy the story. Following each word that came out, his complexion sank darker and darker until none of the dragons present dared to make a peep. Even so, Longyu had confidence in her story because she's poisoned Dragony with her pill already. In this woman's mindset, there's none who wouldn't be afraid of death. Yet in spite of all these beneficial conditions, Dragony didn't care when she was given the eye signal to back up the lies. Prince, that evil woman is glaring at me. Moving behind the little steambun's side, the Missy's action told everyone the truth. Don't be afraid, rubbing the girl's hair like he's the big adult, I'll help you glare back at her later. Although Dragony is a little slow sometimes, but no one can scold her aside from me. Long Yu was flabbergasted by this. How can this little wench act stupid at a time like this? Shifu, wanting to defend herself some more, what came next completely stunned the woman. It's a slap and it went straight for her face, causing a red swollen bruise to come out in the aftermath. Widening her eyes in disbelief, Long Yu turns to face the exasperated senior with her sobbing face. Shifu, please listen to me, I really did bring back your granddaughter. This one really is a fake. Ho ho. The first elder sniggers ironically at her, even this girl herself is denying it. Do you still want to keep insisting on that claim? This time Long Yu was truly lost on what to say. She actually openly denied her identity? Is she asking to die or something? Die, don't you be afraid. The first elder looks at his real granddaughter with the kindest face ever instead of the infuriated one he showed his student. Tell grandfather here what happened. But rather than responding to that, Long Dai consciously looks up to Dragony instead for help. Dai doesn't know what's happening, so I will explain. Bringing her head out from Bai Shachen's back, the Missy takes the stage. This evil woman and her gang of thugs came to make trouble for Dai a while back. I thought they wanted to kill her, so I helped her escape. In the end I was captured by them. Afterwards she asked me to impersonate Dai. I refused, so she used Dai's safety to threaten me, saying she will kill her, and then fed me some sort of poison as precaution. Poison? A flaring anger erupts out of the little steambun's face at the news. Dragony, this evil woman forced you to take a poison? Donning a brilliant smile at the added attention, I'm not afraid, Prince. Her Highness the Queen will surely come save me and cure the poison. She promised to stay here out of care for Dai. As for the poison, this Missy didn't worry one bit. The essence blood of the ancient dragon, and, ignoring Long Yu's ugly expression, Dragony bears her two tiny fangs. That bad woman had me impersonate Dai because she wanted me to find that whatever seal so her husband can become the next chief head. Also, she had more than once scolded this old grandfather here, calling him an old bastard that only knows how to help outsiders instead of his loved ones. One hand pointing at the woman, the other holding his heart, the first elder trembled profusely. You. This traitorous thing. Traitor. Based on that gasping and huffing for air motion, the old elder clearly didn't take this well. All pale by now, Long Yu bites her lower lip like she's been wronged. Shifu, this is all a hoax, I've been framed. I know now, this girl deliberately came and told me she's Long Dai, the purpose is to frame me. Shifu, you know me better than anyone, would never do something like this. At the end of the day not even this wretched woman could remain unfazed while being cornered. In her haste, she began to bang her head against the floor in a kowtowing gesture. As for her own husband whom she's been trying so hard to support, that bastard Xiang Luo just stood on the sidelines as if nothing was happening. One bang against the floor. Two bang against the floor. Three bang against the floor. Eventually that forehead had become a purple bruise with no pity from anyone. Towards this level of indifference, Long Yu revealed a ray of pain on her face. Shifu, are you really going to believe these outsiders than your own disciple? Dai isn't an outsider, he snaps at that inappropriate comment. Taking in a deep breath, the first elder's complexion finally returns to normal. She is my only family. Only family? Closing her eyes, a look of immense pain grips the wretched woman who's still refusing to give up. Laughing out, if she's your family then what am I? What am I to you? This time she didn't get to wait for the senior's reply, instead another voice from the front had answered it for her. You're the murderer who killed his son and daughter-in-law. Now everyone's attention had shifted to the teen leaning against the doorframe. What did you just say? The first elder shoots a death glare over to the teen, his voice radiating murderous intent. Repeat what you just said to me. Long Yu recognizes this person after seeing that face and knew this might spell the end of herself. Showing extreme panic, she yells out to stop further discussion. You shut up. You're the one who colluded with Tsing-Yi back then, and now you want to murder our clan by spelling out lies and deceit. Don't think for a second anyone here will listen to you. What point is there in wasting more words on such people? The husband Xiang Luo beams out a frosty glint. Just kill him and it will be fine. Perhaps it's the human's confident attitude, but this cold heartless man didn't feel good at what's to come. There's an ominous sensation quickly budding within his heart, causing that face to go all gloomy and dark. Bai Shechen on the other hand had a different reaction after hearing who this teen was. There's shock and disbelief. This guy, he's the human teenager Tsing-Yi mentioned before? No wonder he hates Long Yu and the dragon clan here so much, he's her acquaintance. Ha ha ha, the teen didn't notice the strange expression coming off of the steambun's face and continued with his speech. Whether or not I'm spouting nonsense is not important. Once I show the evidence, then everything will be cleared. Shut up. Turning her shame to bitter anger, Long Yu has had it and wanted to attack. Unfortunately for her though, the first elder got in her way before that could take place. The essence blood of the ancient dragon. 5. I want to see what sort of evidence he can produce. Until then, no one can touch him. After that order, the rest who were foolishly wanting to attack were stopped in their tracks, their eyes angry and fuming. At first they didn't recognize the teenager that they've been ignoring until now, but after hearing Long Yu's outcry they most certainly do now. They haven't forgotten about the reason why Tsing-Yi betrayed them, and it was all caused by this person who seduced the proud woman. This was especially true for the younger male generation here because the woman was considered the most beautiful among their age group and was highly sought after. That year, the young man's gaze fell upon the elder's shaky appearance. Your son Long Shi and his wife stumbled upon a ruin. Through their investigation and deciphering of the hieroglyphs left behind on the walls, they realized there's a drop of essence blood hidden there from an ancient dragon. Whoever possesses it will rule the dragons. That's the prophecy described by the ruins. Afterwards, maybe it was coincidence or pre-planned, but Long Yu too had somehow managed to learn of this matter and proposed to accompany the couple with her own husband Xiang Luo. The young man's face hung a ridiculing look when he turned to face the woman in question. Sure enough, there's fire spewing out of Long Yu's face. It's a pity, but Long Shi trusted this traitorous woman too much. In the end, not only did your son and his wife lose their lives at the hand of this backstabber, the essence blood had also fallen into their hands as a result. You're talking nonsense. Baring her teeth in utter rage, do you have any proof that I killed him? The teen sneered in return. Long Shi is a very talented and powerful member of the dragon clan, second only to Tsing-Yi. Do you think he wouldn't leave behind a precautionary measure when he realized you betrayed them? It took me years though, but I finally managed to find out where the four of you went back then, and guess what? I found a wisp of his soul inside the ruins. That story instantly causes Long Yu to gawk in horror at the hated teen. No, impossible. I've long destroyed Long Shi's soul when I killed him. How can he leave behind a wisp of his soul? This person must be trying to provoke me into making a mistake. That must be it. You say you have a wisp of Long Shi's soul? Fine, take it out and let everyone see then. Grinding her teeth, Long Yu asks. For a moment, all eyes had fallen onto the teen's face. Sighing at the attention, this Long Yu is really seeking her own death. Alright, there's no reason why I shouldn't oblige her. Not bothering to waste any more words now that it has come to this, the teen raises up one of his ringed thumb fingers to rub against the item. In no time at all, a transparent entity emerges from within. This was a handsome-looking man that held strong similarities to Long Dai Dai, which immediately causes the first elder to shake with sorrowful sadness at the sight. Son. There's immense emotion mixed into that word, and it also showed the infinite pain of a father that has lost their son. Others were also stunned by this scene. The reason being that the one floating before their eyes was exactly like the teen explained, the second most talented member of their clan who passed away several years ago, Long Shi. Sheer, my son. The old grandfather wanted to reach out to touch his precious son. Unfortunately for this senior though, his fingers didn't make contact with anything, only passing through the air despite the ethereal existence of his son being right in front of his eyes. Father, Long she takes to his knees using the utmost solemn manner while keeping an equally sorrowful voice. I've been unfilial for not being able to accompany you any longer. It was my mistake for going after that ancient dragon's essence blood and allowed Long Yu to backstab me at the crucial moment. Thankfully I was able to leave behind a precautionary measure prior to heading into that ruin. Now I can finally tell the world of her evil deeds and character. The essence blood of the ancient dragon. 6. Boom. Long Yu's state of mind had long fallen into a blank slate when Long Shi appeared before everyone, but now for the truth to come out, her face became desperate and white. It's over this time, I'm done for. Shifu, snapping out in frustrated coldness, we can't believe what he says. Just because he says he's Long Shi doesn't mean anything? I say he's Tsing Yi's scheme of destroying our unity, how about that? Shut up. Red in the eye, the first elder radiated intense killing intent. You think I can't recognize my own son? How dare you and your husband harm my son, unforgivable. Father, Long Shi's soul speaks again after landing those ghostly eyes upon his murderer. Before I died, Long Yu confessed another matter to me as a way to gloat. The reason why Dai Dai disappeared was because of her. She did it out of spite because you wouldn't give her the chief seal. She wanted to spite you and make you grieve. For a simple reason like that, this wretched woman would throw a newborn baby into the mountains. If Dai Dai didn't have luck on her side and somehow survived, then who knows what would have happened to the girl. Long Yu had her eyes closed now, not in regret for the crimes in which she's committed though, but rather for not strangling Dai Dai back then. To think my momentary softness would come back and haunt me like this today. Humph, not going to continue the defensive lies anymore now that the situation has devolved into this. The husband Xiang Luo sneers with contempt at everyone. Since you all know, then there's no need to hide anymore. You think I'm afraid of you or something, old fart? You are, take out the essence blood. The wife stares in shock at her man. Xiang Luo, do you know what you're saying? Unbeknownst to the rest of the dragons and peoples here, there's a major flaw in the essence blood this couple had in their possession. With each use meant the depletion of its potency, meaning it won't be able to keep them protected forever. There's going to be a time where it runs dry and everyone would swarm at them in seconds when that day comes. You are. Seeing his wife's inaction, the man frowns. You don't need to show mercy to these people after the way they're treating you. If you don't bring out the essence blood, then it will mean our death. Biting her lower lip, Shifu, it's you who are non-benevolent first, so don't blame me for the injustice. At that, this wretched woman quickly took out the bottle containing said item and popped the cork. In that instant, an immense pressure grips the air around the entire Dragon Mountain, causing all of the residences to take to their knee. Also, Long Shi's residual wisp of his soul had also dispersed into nothingness under this shock. Son. The first elder wanted to defy this power after seeing his son's soul dispersing into nothingness due to the pressuring might. Unfortunately for this senior, the most he could muster was to keep himself from prostrating like the rest despite his shaky appearance. Long Yu, I won't let you get away with this even if I have to throw myself at you. Red in his eyes like blood's about to come out now, the elder stares intently at the hateful couple. Wah! Long Dai Dai burst into tears. Grandpa, unable to bear the crying appearance of her friend, Dragony pokes at her mental pillar using the most pleading voice she could make. Prince, can you help Dai Dai's grandfather? The prince is as powerful as the queen, he will certainly have a mean to save Dai Dai's grandfather. Tsing Yi's return. 1. Ho, sneering in her voice. There's smugness in the woman's eye when confronting Dragony over her outrageous words. Little bitch, if you had only obeyed my orders properly, then you wouldn't be in this situation. Now there's no one to save you. Clinging tightly to the bottle to infuse more of her energy, Long Yu's face showed proud arrogance as the aura increased with her act. But very soon that cheeky smile was replaced with a hard stiffness of disbelief. The main reason being by Xiaochen's ignoring attitude and of how the boy could move at will. Then there's that attitude. It's overbearing and dominating, just like a king's. For everyone else, they were equally as surprised as the former because it's next to impossible for them to imagine how a child of such age could resist such tremendous pressure. To the point where even the former dragon chief paled in comparison. Who allowed you people to kneel before this woman? Though his voice was still young and childish, it's nevertheless enough to release the bind on these dragons and allowed them to get back up from the floor. Longyi grew anxious over this scene. Clasping harder onto her bottle, she urgently releases even more of the blood's pressure and spread it across the air. Unfortunately, she failed this time because they all stood there and stared at her in dismay. How did this happen? Impossible, this is the ancient dragon's essence blood, it has never failed. Longyu began to shudder in horror under the sun's faint glistening light, causing her skin to reveal how ghastly white she's feeling right now. It can't be, the power of the blood is lost? Her husband Xiang Luo had also fallen into a panic. Snatching the bottle in haste into his own hands, the man fires enormous levels of energy into the thing in hopes of activating the pressuring aura again. Yet, none of the dragons bowed at this, only staring quietly at the couple with disconcerting confusion. What is going on? The husband asks his wife using an interrogating tone. It couldn't be helped. This was their last trump card. Without this, their fate was doomed. Dragoni, you wait here with Dai for me. Releasing his hand from the girls, Bai Shuchen slowly strode towards the wretched couple. Which of you is the one who kidnapped Dragoni? What would normally be a cuddly and lovable face only looked demonic and threatening to Longyu right now. That's correct. To this woman, the kid was the incarnate of the death god itself. You, who the hell are you? She takes a step back out of fear. Responding with a cheeky face of her own, Dragoni was the one to speak using her tenderly young voice. He is His Highness the Prince. I've said it before, the Queen and Prince will come save me. Shuddering incoherently, the memory of the last mentioning this comment flashes before her eyes. As a result, a deeper level of shock now fills those eyes. Xingyi's return, too, isn't that queen nothing more than a consort of some kingdom? How can a human king's love toy give birth to such child? Longyu, the first elder, finally regained his senses, and now the look in his eyes were quite complicated. There's hate, anger, disappointment, and even pain in the heart. Now, what else do you have to say? Tightly clenching her fist, the wretched woman somehow grew vicious in the mindset and turned that anger onto someone that's not even present. Even if I break a leg this time, I will still drag that Xingyi down with me into the water. What more, if not for that woman, then my Xiang Luo would have become the chief already. Shifu, I know I've done something wrong, but, Longyu hangs her head low while clenched that fist like she's the victim. These things were all ordered by Xingyi. It was her who had me do all these terrible things. What nonsense are you talking about? The first elder became outraged at the continued denial. You still dare to pass the blame onto Xingyi when things have come this far? Biting her lip, yes, it is Xingyi. She lured me out of the Dragon Mountain after we drove her off. That's when she poisoned me. Plop. Kneeling down immediately, her voice grew sobbing. Everything I said is true, Shifu. I have no way to resist Xingyi's poison. Making my husband the chief. That too is ordered by her. She made me do that as well, including the part of killing Long Shi. Sneaking a hidden upward at the old man, she inexplicably revealed a smirk that she immediately hid away the next second. Xingyi's a scheming person, she knows you trust her immensely. By killing Long Shi and then forcing me to make my husband the chief, everything would fall into place, a perfect setup for when she returns to take over the position. Leaking tears like a waterfall, Longyu's false sincerity had an effect and left some of the clan members swaying to believe that story. In comparison to a human, they would much rather believe in their own kin and detest someone who's assumed to have betrayed their clan. I'll tear your mouth off if you keep spouting nonsense. In his desperation, the teen wanted to attack to stop that foul mouth from dirtying his friend. However, before he could take action, a small little hand had reached over to grab at his sleeve to stop him. You let me go. The teenager glares in exasperation. Xingyi is such a nice woman, why do these people keep trying to frame her? She clearly did nothing, yet someone would always throw dirty water at her. You shut up. Puffing up his cheek, Bai Shuchen forcibly drags the teen behind himself and locks onto the foe. Since you say your orders are the result of Xingyi's scheme, how about you call her here to compare the story then? Compare? Longyu's expression darkened, I don't even know if she's still alive or not after she fled. How I'm supposed to find her? Firstly, whether or not Tsing-yi would come doesn't matter because that woman would never admit it. The various dragons nodded in agreement to that comment. Long Yu is right. That Tsing-yi is such a cunning woman, there's no way she would return when things are not looking good. You not being able to call her here doesn't mean I can't. Out of everyone's expectation, Bai Shuchen throws out this grenade in front of the crowd using the most innocent and naive face ever. Yet, to their eyes, that face only looked sinister and dark like the devil itself. Tsing-yi's return. 3. What did you say? The unease intensifies within Long Yu's heart. Her only wish right now was to drag Tsing-yi down with her. This way she could still have an opportunity to get even in the afterlife since she knows escaping unscathed was next to impossible now. But based on that sentence, it's almost like this little guy knew her or something. Mother. Suddenly the kid cries from out of the blue and ran towards a certain direction. Mother? Their gazes followed the kid's movement and eventually fell upon a woman. Mother, I found Dragony on my own, did I do good? Donning the biggest grin, the kid looks up with his arms wrapped tightly around the woman's waist. Unable to bear this adorable picture, Bai Yan swiftly pulls her son in for a peck on the cheek. Shuchen is mother's best child, so of course you did well. Then compared with Batty father, am I mother's favorite? Sparkling in his big blue eyes, the kid couldn't wait to hear the answer. Sure enough, Bai Yan didn't hesitate in the least and blurted out the answer, of course you are mother's favorite. In that very moment, Di Tsang's expression could only be called a black hole. That's how dark it has become after hearing his wife's response. Moving over to pick the brat out of his mother's arm, the man readily tosses the boy down to the ground in order to possessively pull the woman into a tight embrace. This is my wife. If you want to be someone's favorite, then go find your own wifey. Mother, all pitiful in his appearance, the little steambun sounded aggrieved by this maltreatment. I don't want a wifey, I only want mother. Bai Yan could literally feel her heart melting away at her son's adorable appearance. Hurrying to bring him into her arms for a warm embrace. Until you find a wifey, you will always be my precious baby, so don't worry. That only made it worse because that wasn't what the kid wanted to hear. Ready to cry at any moment. Then does that mean if I find a wifey you won't take me as your precious baby anymore? I don't want a wifey, I only want to accompany mother for the rest of my life. I knew it, mother only has Batty father in mind now that he's here. If I had known this would happen, then I wouldn't have helped him. How could he forget what I did when mother didn't want him anymore? This is unfair. Queen, a young tender voice suddenly drifts over from the front, causing Bai Yan to release her arms and gaze over to the little girl standing before her eyes. Sorry, I'm late. Pulling Dragony in as well, she lets that tearing face rest firmly against her chest to act as a comfort zone. No matter how much this young lass has lived in life since her hatching from the egg, the girl only recently opened up her mind to the world. Therefore, in terms of mentality, Dragony could only be considered a child at heart. Whatever courage she had to endure the days away from everyone has been spent, and it's time for the pent-up emotions to be released. This was especially true while being in front of Bai Yan, Dragony's only real family. Tsing-yi's return. 4. Queen, I just knew you would come save me. Leaving that warming chest, Dragony speaks out in a sobbing tone, that evil woman forced-fed me a poison in order to make me help her, I'm scared. I don't know anyone here. Bai Yan's expression abruptly changed for the worse at this sudden news. Hurrying to test the little missy's pulse, her tense heart eventually subsides after seeing it's nothing serious. It's okay, that poison is nothing special. Take this detox Dan pill, it will remove the toxin within your body as soon as you eat it. Long Yu's face went ice hard there. A simple detox Dan pill is enough to remove the poison? Didn't that human say it's uncurable when I bought it off of him? But this was no time for this wretched woman to dwell on such small matters, because the following second her eyes had fallen onto the new arrival. Gawking her eyeballs out, you. How is it possible? Why is Tsing-yi here? How dare this woman return to the Dragon Clan? Tsing-yi. The teen was the first to cry out in astonishment, his face showing excitement and disbelief. Tsing-yi's not dead? She's alive? This is great, she's really alive. Failing to wipe away the tears from his eyes and cheek, the teen eventually gave up and allowed the emotions to run forward like rapids through a river. You child. Finding her acquaintance as well after scanning the area, Tsing-Yi removes the uptight persona she almost always has and changed it to a soft warming look. You're already so old and still crying like a child? But then again, your appearance hasn't changed in the least after all these years. Yuh. Sobbing, the teen rushed over to the woman whom he's been missing dearly until even his cries had turned into an incoherent laugh. Teacher Tsing-Yi, I'm so happy you're alive, I'm so happy. I never thought I would be able to meet you again in my lifetime. It's been over 100 years, so any hope has been drained away within this teen's heart. The only support keeping his body going was revenge. Tsing-Yi wasn't only this teen's close confidant, she's also his teacher and tutor. If it wasn't for the dragoness's appearance back then, his fate would have ended long ago by his enemies. So, whether it be personal or for business, he owes her everything to the point where even death wouldn't be a big price. While the two were sharing a wonderful momentary reunion, all eyes had fallen onto Tsing-Yi's presence by this point. Tsing-Yi, how dare you return to us? Did you not do enough already back then by betraying the clan? We can leave your life intact out of consideration for the late chief's sake, but you will still have to pay the price for your mistake. Emotional anger has clearly washed away the fear instilled onto them by the kid already because their voices were sharp and stinging. A total disregard for Bai Shechen's might and threat. For the dragoness herself, this was akin to a second slap across the face. Though she may have already heard these words once back then when they drove her off, but it's still painful for it to be said a second time. Suddenly, a hand lands onto her shoulder in a reassuring manner. Turning stiff, she swings her head around to find that wondrous woman behind herself. Tsing-Yi's return. 5. Tsing-Yi, those who don't believe you doesn't deserve your loyalty. Those who don't believe you doesn't deserve your loyalty. Glimmering with light in those eyes, Tsing-Yi's pained soul gradually returned to normal after hearing Bai Yan's word. Sweeping her gaze across the interrogating crowd, she imprints the faces into her head for the future. Eventually that focus had locked onto a certain old face. First Elder, how have you been lately? How have you been lately? Though nothing but a simple greeting there, it's still more than enough to make the senior release that waterfall from the eyes. I've been doing well. Tsing-Yi, where have you been all these years? Others may not believe you, but I won't doubt you. Why didn't you come back to see me earlier? Tsing-Yi could only make a bittersweet smile and return to that question. It's not like she didn't want to return here to the land that raised her, but under those circumstances, not only would she be unable to protect herself, she would also place this trusted elder into a bad position. I wasn't able to return because of my injuries. Oh yes, First Elder, where is Long Shi? How come I don't see him around? Slightly frowning in the face, the dragoness wanted to find the young lad who used to follow her around wherever she went. According to reason, Long Shi should have been of age and married by now, per APS even with children. How come he's not around when a commotion like this is taking place? The First Elder was uncomfortably stiff in the face because the grief still hasn't left his old eyes. Then before this poor father could explain what has happened to his son to the dragoness, several infuriated voices had cut in. Don't pretend anymore, Tsing-Yi, you had Long Yu kill Long Shi and his wife, so why play dumb? You're the worst for not even letting their daughter off. Boom. A surge of dangerous might promptly explodes out of the woman's clothes, causing even the bravest to flinch at this display. What did you just say? Long Shi's been killed by Long Yu? Those who openly taunted her were thrust into a pause for thought while their hearts shuddered at what she meant. This woman's expression doesn't seem to be fake. Can it be, Long Shi's death isn't related to her? Long Yu killed Long Shi. Her explanation is that everything was orchestrated by you so that you can return and take over as the chief after you poisoned her. The sentence was like swords, penetrating straight into the dragoness's heart and causing excruciating pain. Whether it be when she was framed or seriously injured, Tsing-Yi has never felt so distressed before. The main reason being that little lad whom she treats as her own brother was now dead, and it's all her fault for returning so late. Tears inexplicably began to trickle down the woman's cheek. You killed Long Shi. Xing Yi's voice became bone-chillingly cold as she raised her sword at the murderer, so you must die as retribution. Taking 2 steps back in a panic, Long Yu frantically cries out, "What do you want to do? You can't silence me just because I exposed you. Everything I did was at your order. You can't do this to me." Ha ha ha. Xing Yi bursts out laughing, her voice echoing across the entire undersea mountain. There's madness and there's sadness, but more than anything there's a layer of water that wouldn't stay nor leak out from the eyes. That year, you claimed that I colluded with Moshi to betray our clan, but then I want to ask, why should I? I am my father's daughter, the future chief of the Dragon Clan. Once I take the seat then all of you will need to honor my orders, so why should I betray the clan? Xing Yi's return, 6, but you all, Xing Yi's chilling smile swept across the many dragons present, believed her words without a second though. And now, this woman is claiming I ordered her to harm Long Shi so that I can take over the position as chief with ease? Where's the logic in that? The gathered crowd were left completely silent. Some were shocked by this revelation while some were too ashamed to utter a response. Compared with humans, dragons on the other hand rarely uses their brain to think due to their nature of being an animal at heart. Back then when Long Yu's husband Xiang Luo claimed of the dragoness's betrayal, they were all convinced with ease and never doubted the idea. But now that they're thinking it through, it has quickly dawned on them that there are many potholes to the story. That's right, Xing Yi was the next dragon chief anyways. Why should she betray the clan when she only lacked a ceremony to become official back then? It's me. It's my fault that Long Shi is gone. Slowly closing her eyes, Xing Yi revealed immense pain on the face. If I was still here then none of you people could have harmed him. But the dragoness's wish could only remain a wish. Back then these dragons didn't even give her a chance to explain before attacking her. If she didn't flee for her life then the only thing left of her would have been a corpse. And now on her grandiose return, those whom she thought as her own family was now gone, the little nosy child whom always followed her everywhere was now dead. Suddenly, Xing Yi shoots open her eyes with lines of blood filling up those pupils. Taking advantage of everyone's absent-mindedness due to her words, the dragoness had already come before Long Yu's face and stabbed her blade ruthlessly against that chest. Poof! Spitting out blood from the mouth, Long Yu looked upwards in disbelief at that incredible contour. Shaking her head in a muttering tone, "Your injuries, it's healed?" She didn't get to wait for a proper answer. The reason being Xing Yi had begun to slash down repeatedly at the wretched woman's body. This was the dragoness's form of retaliation. For all the years of indignation, frustration, and pain, she's letting it all loose like a crazed whip towards the foe. Elder Long Huang, what is the meaning of all this? One of the stronger and braver dragons stepped over to ask one of the seniors who came back with Bai Yan's group. These people, where did you find them from? Weren't your group investigating the lightning trial? Humph. Long Huang awkwardly coughs to stop the man from asking any more dangerous questions. That year, it was us who misunderstood Xing Yi. When he spoke, the senior made sure to measure the reaction from Bai Yan and Di Tsang's face. Seeing there's none, the poor guy felt relieved and heaved a long sigh. Misunderstood Xing Yi? The male frowns and continued to ask. I ask you then, in addition to Xiang Luo's word about her betrayal, what other evidence is there? Did you see it with your own eyes, or did you hear their conversation personally? After a moment of thought, the senior Long Huang threw out the same set of questions Bai Yan used to question their group back at the surface. Sure enough, the crowd had fallen silent. It's exactly like the senior predicted, none of them had seen or heard it firsthand, only blindly believing one of their own about Xing Yi's betrayal. And, the senior's mouth began to twitch at his own shamelessness. If you don't want our clan to be destroyed then keep your nose out of this matter. Don't drag the clan down just because of Long Yu and her husband's crime. That said, Long Huang didn't forget to sneak another peek at Di Tsang and Bai Yan. These two are from the demon realm. If they want to destroy our clan then it's only a word away. We'd be stupid to protect Long Yu and her husband at a time like this. The Demon Realm's Disturbance. 1. Long Yu, Xiang Luo. The first elder flies into a rage. his eyes burning with hatred until he could barely keep his breath together. These two, they both betrayed him. One being his once proud disciple and the other a trusted confidant. Ha ha ha. Thinking up to here, the first elder breaks out into a roaring laugh towards the water surface, thus leaving the courtyard echoing with his eerie voice. Someone come, take Xiang Luo to the dungeons for later disposal. Clutching onto his chest, the senior almost couldn't breathe. Seeing this, the granddaughter Long Dai Dai did any filial child would do and came over to soothe that heaving body with her small little hands. Based on her eyes, it's obvious she's full of worry for this old man. Dai Dai, turning soft at the concern he's getting, Grandpa here is fine, you don't have to worry about me. Thankfully I am able to figure out the murderer of your parents and got you back before anything happens. So what else do I have to regret? Suddenly, the bluishly light-colored water above their heads had turned dark, causing them to look up at the reasoning. To everyone's surprise, the shadow was caused by countless creatures circling around and leaving their presence known. Arching her brow at this sight, Bai Yen was the first to react. Ditsang, are these the demon beasts you brought along to the Misty Fairy House? No, they're not. Showing a heavy expression, the man grew all serious. Something must have happened in the demon realm. Prior to my departure I left behind a talisman, so there shouldn't be any reason for them to seek me out. For so many demon beasts to appear, there can only be one plausible reason, and that is something majorly wrong must have happened. First Elder, what's going on? Many of the dragons here started to panic as a result of this strange anomaly. They know, if those demon beasts above the water swoops down and attack, then they would be doomed. Showing dismay as well like everyone else, the elder appeared worried. I also don't know what's happening either. We have kept to ourselves for so many years that it's next to impossible to know what's happening in the outside world. What's more, where did this many powerful demons come from? There shouldn't be this many powerful ones out in the human world to begin with. Then before anyone could go investigate the matter, something unimaginable occurred. The water had split apart to create a pathway. This was by no means an easy feat. By combining the efforts of every bird in the vicinity, the gusting wind had become so strong that the water was now being repelled to the side like a tunneling wall and created a path for the one leading the pack. It's a golden dragon and it's radiating a dazzling light like the sun itself. In the following roar created by this magnificent creature, even the great barrier surrounding the dragon mountain was shattered into 1,000 pieces. Ha ha ha. Xiang Luo breaks out into an exaggerated laugh. Don't you all get it yet? Tsing Yi betrayed us and this is the army she brought along to destroy our clan. Why do you think disaster is striking at us as soon as this group of humans came to our home? Ha ha ha. The demon realm's disturbance, too, the faces of the dragons were extremely ugly. Whatever doubt and suspicion they had of Xiang Luo was now reversed and shifted towards Tsing Yi instead. Wait, suddenly, the first elder's eyes grew wide. There's dismay and there's incredulous at the golden dragon leading the pack. This is Ancestor Long Tian? Long Tian was a legend to this dragon clan here in the human world. According to their tales, the dragon had left for the demon realm centuries ago, hence the reason why there aren't many who's still alive who could recognize him. Even so, Long Tian's portrait had long become a mainstay among the younger generation due to his glorious achievement. Ancestor Long Tian? Hiss. Multiple gasps of shock filled the air as they all watched the massive dragon quickly closing in on their location. Despite the excitement that's apparent on his former clan, Long Tian didn't pay them any heed. Transforming into his human form upon arrival, he promptly got on his knees to give a respectful greeting to Ditsang and Bai Yen. King, Queen, these denizens of the demon realm wish to see you, so I brought them through the barrier. Long Tian didn't make any eye contact with the others still. Ever since he left here centuries ago, he had already discarded his past and welcomed the new world he's in. Therefore, he in fact didn't want to show his presence at all if not for these demon beasts seeking an audience. The whole scene had turned deadly silent right now. Like everyone else, Xiang Luo's face had frozen over as well because if he did not mishear those words. Demon realm? Isn't that the sacred lands of us demons? An ancestor Long Tian? The first elder quickly crawled over to the golden-robed man, his face shaking with excitement. You are ancestor Long Tian? Clearly unhappy at the disruption, the dragon chief knew he had to address this old senior if he wants to continue his business. We will speak later. Do you not see I'm busy? That's the equivalent of admitting his identity, and the sensational news promptly causes the dragons here to break out into admiration and respect. To them, Long Tian was no different than a god. As for the dragon chief himself, he's very bothered by this reaction because his liege was standing right before his very eyes. If they continued to act this way, it would be no different from an insult to Ditsang. Meanwhile, at the same time, all of the demon beasts that arrived had taken to the ground in a prostrating position, causing the entire dragon mountain to be filled to the brim with members of the other races. Your loyal followers pay respect to the queen, king, and the prince. The voices of the beasts rang across the mountain in a long-lasting ring. What happened? Deep in his voice, Ditsang's aura grew dominant and overbearing. King, something has happened in the demon realm. One of the leopards at the front raises its head to speak, his voice full of worry. Since that day when the seal around the demon realm broke apart, many of the denizens who didn't belong to the major clans began to flee into the human world. We fear the situation might cause unexpected events. That's why we are here to report this to you. Aside from the major clans that make up the main fighting force of the demon realm, there are also another group that doesn't belong to any factions. Whether or not they're powerful doesn't matter. One thing's for sure though, they aren't able to fit into the norm, hence their exclusion. The demon realm's disturbance. 3. So you all came to find me because of this small little matter? Ditsang furrows his brow at this. It's not only that. Sensing the displeasure in that tone, the leopard hurries to explain themselves before it's too late. Aside from the ones who ran off into the human world, a group of unknown individuals had also appeared inside the realm. They're very powerful and is wreaking havoc across the land. We are afraid of returning to the demon realm with them there. For Ditsang, his first instinct when hearing this piece of news was that the forces from the celestial realm has arrived. Should we make a visit back to the demon realm? Bai Yan suggests with an open frown as well. As her husband's main supporting foundation, she too doesn't want to see anything bad happening to the place. Stay here and wait for me, I'll return very soon. Tightly clenching the woman's waist, Ditsang's voice was soft and unwilling. You. Bai Yan became dreadfully emotionless in her voice. What did you just promise me? Whatever happened to he's not going to keep anything hidden from me? Okay. Seeing there's no room to change his wife's decision, this great demon lord could only relent and grinned at this. One for the strong personality this woman has, the other for the strong level of attachment he's now receiving. Then let's go back together. Taking this all in while being in his mother's arm, Bai Xiachen knew exactly what this meant. Hurrying to state his claim by burying his small little head into that bountiful chest, Mother, you can't leave me behind, I also want to go back to the demon realm. Of course my son, we're going back together. Ruffling up the boy's hair to show her affection, Bai Yan's tender smile said it all. Tsing Yi, I'll leave the matters here for you to personally deal with. I believe no one is going to stop you this time, so I'll send for you when you're finished. Mother, Bai Xiachen tugs at her sleeve. Then, shouldn't we go back to the Holy Land to pick up little Rice and that tigress Huang Xiaoying? No need, we will come back for them afterwards. One hand holding the little steam bun, the other dragony, Bai Yan happily acted her role as the parent. Ditsang, we're ready to go now. 1 second, slightly narrowing his eyes, Ditsang's sight eventually locked onto the small bottle in Xiang Luo's hand. Longyu's husband had lost his wits as soon as he became aware of these people's origin, but now to be the focus of attention of the great demon lord, it's only normal for this coward to shrink that neck to lower his own existence. You're the king of the demon realm? All of this is that foolish Longyu's fault. If she didn't stupidly claim that girl surrendered to a human, then I wouldn't have taken the matter so lightly and thrown myself into this mess. Yes, this is all her fault. Downright expressionless, Ditsang slowly strode towards the cowardly man that's shivering all over at his every step. It's no surprise one would fear this demon lord, but for one to pee their pants would be a first, and this Xiang Luo actually pulled that off. Now there's a foul smell staining the air. Swoosh! Right when Ditsang was only several steps away from his target, an invisible force immediately flew out from his body, causing the bottle to fling out of Xiang Luo's possession and onto the demon lord's palm. Normally such a scene would rouse quite the stir from all these dragons, however, this man's tyrannical aura superseded their desire to claim that essence blood. Here, this belongs to you. Saying only that, the man readily tosses the item onto Dragony's hand and returned that attention back to his wife. Yen Yen, I'm done now, let's leave. The demon realm's disturbance, for Dragony blinks in bewilderment, not understanding why she's been given the item. Di-tsang, does this bottle of essence blood have anything to do with her? Raising a brow, Bai Yen asks with a soft voice of her own. Smiling mysteriously in return, she will know on her own when the time comes. Due to this matter not being directly part of herself, Bai Yen didn't dwell on the issue and left it as so. After all, there's no way her husband would hurt the lass that's under her care. Come, we're going home. Bringing Dragony back over her to side, the woman's face glowed with a heart-stopping light under the reflecting water from above. Warmed by this, the lass almost looked like she's fallen into a daze-like state before uttering only a single word, okay. From now on I also have a home. Wherever Her Highness is, that will be my home. The matters with the dragon clan here in the Misty Fairy House has now come to a close for Bai Yen and her family. However, for those remaining behind, their anger has only just begun for the ones responsible. Long Yu had curled into an almost fetal shape right now due to the numerous blade wounds across her body. She's been scarred and bloodied by Tsing Yi's whipping attacks earlier. That just goes to show how much of a hopeless situation this woman was in. That woman whom Dragony call Queen is the real Queen of the Demon Realm? And that little steam bun is the prince? And Tsing Yi is now under said being's protection? Ancestor Long Tian appeared as well? Quivering in the lips, Long Yu unwillingly closes her eyes in acceptance. Which part of me is inferior to Tsing Yi? Why is it that I'm always overshadowed by her? Aside from my husband whom I chose, she always outshines me. It's always been like this. Thinking of Xiang Luo, the woman promptly jerks open her eye again and turns towards the man whom she's loved over the years. That's right, I have Xiang Luo with me. He said he will never abandon me no matter the consequences. This is something Tsing Yi can never compete with me in. Xiang Luo, struggling to climb up from the floor, Long Yu's frail body looked like she's going to collapse at any moment while her legs swayed towards the man. This time I truly lost everything, but I still have you. A pigment of sorrow blooms within her pained smile. My only hope now is that in the next life we can start over again. I'm sure we can soar through the heavens. Her trembling hand reaches over in a vain attempt to stroke the man's handsome contour. However, what returned next was a ruthless slap across the woman's face. This impact not only destroyed her last wisp of self-esteem, it also slapped away her self-deception. Stumbling backwards at this sudden twist, Long Yu's gaze finally devolved into utter despair from the initial shock. What are you doing? She slightly closes her eyes, allowing the tears to trickle down the side without knowing it herself that she's crying. I forsaked everyone, betrayed those closest to myself, and for what? A slap at the final moment? The Demon Realm's Crisis, 1, what am I doing? Xiang Luo throws a sarcastic snark at his own wife. Shouldn't you know better than anyone else on what I want to do? Long Yu, if it wasn't for a stupid woman like you then I wouldn't be in this miserable state. Hatred now burns like a blazing pyre inside this cowardly man. It's as if he's facing the murderer of his own family rather than his own wife. This reaction dulls the woman's mind because she never expected this man whom always spouted words of forever true love would abandon her like so, and to show such hatred too? First Elder, Xiang Luo swings over to the senior in ruthless might. The matter is all this woman's fault. I have nothing to do with this and I am only involved due to her involvement. No matter what the clan wants to do with her, I have no objection. Staring at that desperate face of her own husband's, Long Yu suddenly pounced at him without giving anyone a chance to stop her. Those eyes were heinously red from the disgust she felt from the betrayal. You heartless dog. I did everything for your sake, how can you do this to me? I'm going to kill you. Biting down at the man's arm, this wretched woman completely tears off a piece of that flesh and causes a burst of blood to come gushing out. It's gory and unsettling. You crazy woman. Without mercy, Xiang Luo returns with a kick of his own. Those eyes radiated a fierce killing intent that resembled nothing like one whom should be protecting his own wife. Heartless bastard, even if I die I will drag you down with me. Long Yu has now devolved into a vengeful banshee. No matter how wretched she was at heart, any woman who's been betrayed so openly would hold a grudge. Shifu, turning to her own mentor, do you want to know how your son died? I'll tell you. It's true, Long Shi was killed by me and Xiang Luo's very own hands. In order to make him the chief, I betrayed you and everyone closest to me. Are you happy? I gave up everything for this animal, just so he can betray me at the end. Ha ha ha. As she laughed in hysterics, those tears soon changed to trickles of blood instead. That's how torn and regretful this woman has become. Why bother to regret now when you knew your fate would be like so if caught? Stepping forward, Xing Yi's face revealed a frosty smirk. It's bad enough that you framed me back then, but you never should have killed Long Shi and his wife. He never deserved such a fate because he never thought to serve as the chief. Long Yu shuddered for the third time again today. She knows, after learning of Bai Xiaochen and the others' background, there's no way for her to get out of this hot mess. So, she didn't even try to retort against that remark. Xing Yi, still stuck in his hopeless delusion, Xiang Luo rushes over to cling onto the dragoness's leg. I really didn't know anything. All of the things were done by Long Yu herself. I was manipulated by her. She only told me I could take the chief's position and nothing else, you must believe me. This only irritated the dragoness rather than help his case. Flashing a dangerous light in those eyes, the both of you are going to die, don't think about escaping. The both of you are going to die, don't think about escaping. Losing his grip at the death sentence, the coward no longer had the courage to continue his act. Scrambling to get off the floor, he makes a hard dash for the outside in his futile attempt to flee. Unfortunately for this bastard though, two of the stronger males had already blocked off his path ahead of time. The Demon Realm's crisis, too, the first elder was the first to take the lead in kneeling down at the dragoness to show his respect. Hail the chief! Hail the chief! Hail the chief! The rest of the clan members quickly did the same after seeing their de facto leader surrendering. Standing there with her hands behind the back, Xing Yi remains emotionless under the glistening light of the sun's ray breaking through the water's surface. Rise all of you. First, I want Xiang Luo and his wife detained inside a secure dungeon. Afterwards, go locate every single individual who was close to them over the years while I was gone. I want to know who they are and what they've done with the two. Everyone's heart shuddered at this order. They all understand that this was the signaling of a clean sweep. The woman intends to clear out the corrupt factors within the clan. Chief, let me handle this matter. It's time we cleaned out the corrupt variables within the clan. Bellowing out a hearty laugh, the first elder volunteers himself for the job. Affirming the idea with that sound. I have another news to announce as well. After this matter is over, the clan here will merge into the one over in the demon realm. Now that the seal is broken, all demons are one, so there is no longer a need for two dragon clans. Also, I am not your chief. The first elder didn't take the last bit so well. Showing dismay, but where are you going? Curving her lips into a smile at the thought of her own future, I of course am going to follow the one I swore loyalty to for the rest of my life. After I'm done dealing with Long Yu and her husband, anything else that happens with the clan is no longer my concern. I only have one identity thereafter, Bai Yan's familiar beast. Demon Realm. A woman wearing a flaming red dress was currently frowning at the bunch of people in front of herself. Go back all of you, I cannot leave this sacred mountain. But Lady Suzaku, fourth elder, smiles wryly. First elder left with state teacher to some unknown place, and most of the palace guards are away with the princess. Now there's only Tiger Chief Huang Che-mu and the other remaining elders to stand in defense of the palace. If things continue like this, then that wild lass from who knows where really will topple us demons. If either one of those two were to remain behind, then none of these demons here would be afraid and be stuck in a passive state. Sadly, that's not the case, and now there's no one left who could contend with the powerful people that's currently causing havoc across the demon realm. That woman is from the celestial realm? Suzaku, Phoenix, turned heavy in the face as anger brewed inside those eyes. If not for those from the celestial realm, then king and queen wouldn't be separated for so many years, nor would us the four sacred beasts be separated by life and death. The vendetta has long been made between this phoenix and those celestials. Unfortunately for her, she's unable to leave this demon mountain to exact revenge. They should be from the celestial realm. Now that the seal is broken, anyone is able to freely leave and come as they please to our domain. Since the human world wouldn't have this many powerful individuals that could rival our own, I believe they are. The fourth elder answers with a sigh after some contemplation. Thankfully, I sent away some of the most talented members from the various clans prior to this incident, otherwise they will die in vain at this rate. In the fourth elder's mind, his opinion was that if they couldn't beat the enemy, then the next best option would be to reduce the losses until their king returns to save them. Gleaming a cold light in her eyes, Suzaku eventually loosens her tightly knit brow. Don't worry. Although I can't leave this mountain, that doesn't mean I'm unable to fight. Lure those people here and I will deal with them personally. The Demon Realm's Crisis. 3. Suzaku's an indifferent person to begin with. Ever since she parted ways with those whom she cared for 1,000 years ago, she's had no extra feelings left for these in the Demon Realm. However, this place remains to be the precious domain her queen wishes to protect. That reason alone meant she couldn't turn a blind eye. What's more, the wild lass coming out of the fourth elder's mouth might be from the celestial realm as well. Arching his fist in delight at the notion, fourth elder didn't think twice about the offer. Then we will have to bother your ladyship. That said, the group quickly got up from the floor and departed from the mountain. At the same time, a ruckus had erupted outside the palace gate. Doors flung apart to one side, an old lady was left stranded on the ground with her crutch due to the fall she took. This granny kept calling out the fact that it hurts due to this. "Ma, are you all right, Ma?" Tiger Chief Huang Che-mu grew furious at the sight. After confirming his own mother was fine, the man immediately locked eyes onto the ones responsible in front. Their demeanor was no different from gods looking down at some peasant. That's how egotistic their attitude was, especially the girl wearing the pink dress at the middle. "Quit straggling around the entrance. Hurry up and scram before I get mad." An old man next to the girl stepped forward to holler out this demand. Huang Che-mu had to fight hard in order to suppress the urge to pounce at the rude old man. Of the multiple clans that's willingly to stand up to these invaders, his tiger clan had suffered the greatest casualties and damage. If not for the fourth elder being smart and sending a large flock of their underlings out to the human world for help, they would have already thrown themselves at the enemy regardless of the price. "Chief!" The tiger guards behind their leader all drew their weapons, those blades ready to go at any moment. "Let's strike out at these bastards. When the king and queen returns, they will surely get revenge for us. When have us demons suffered such indignation? These bastards are only acting out because His Majesty isn't around. If state teacher or first elder is still around, they would never dare to go wild on our turf. That's right, nothing but a bunch of cowards that only know how to pick on the weak. Us demons haven't fallen so low that we would be afraid of such people." The impudent words from the invaders has definitely angered those standing here in defense of the palace. Right now, a single word of consent was all that's needed for these loyal demons to charge forward, even if that means their own death. "Huang Che, old Madam Huang, what are you two doing?" Right when the tiger chief's about to make the gesture to attack, a familiar voice rings out from the rear, causing that hand to halt in mid-action. "Elders," old Madam Huang hurries over to the group of seniors. "Is the queen back yet? Where's my granddaughter, is she back as well?" The Demon Realm's Crisis. 4. In order to pursue her own love and future, Huang Xiaoying, Tigress, had left the Demon Realm along with Little Rice and Bai Yen back then of her own accord. As a result, this poor grandmother could only come to the palace every day seeking information on whether or not her granddaughter has returned. Watching the trembling old body of the woman that's making an almost praying gesture with those hands, the elders present all sighed at this picture. In the end they decide to spell the truth: the queen hasn't returned yet. In that instant old Madame Huang seems to have aged considerably as her hands hung powerlessly back to her sides. "Ma," feeling his heart tightening up, the tiger chief attempts to help support that unstable body. Don't worry, Ma. Xiaoying is with Her Highness, so there's nothing to fret. I'm sure they're all right and will soon be back. Naturally, this didn't work despite the effort. She's heard it many days already since that day her granddaughter ran away from home. What were you people doing just now? Fourth elder frowns as he eyed the bunch of unwelcomed intruders at the front. According to the elder's assessment, the girl in pink should be the one in charge despite the other seniors nearby being incredibly more powerful. It's almost like he's confronting a tsunami just by staring at their aura. Fourth elder. The tiger chief grits his teeth. This bunch of bastards hurt my ma. Truth was, this filial son had wanted to send this old grandmother out to the human world as well in search of Huang Xiaoying. However, age has always been a bitch when it came to travel, so the notion was quickly dropped after putting all the details on the table. You people have already kidnapped a lot of us demons away during this time. Why do you not spare even an old granny? The one to cry out was the fifth elder. Beard shaking, this one had flames of hatred in his eyes. The girl returns with a snarky smirk. I did catch a lot of demon beasts to form contracts, that's true. However, all those are too poor in terms of quality, hardly worth of my noble status. What do you want then? The fifth elder's fist starts making a crunching sound from the tense grip. Very simple, fiddling with a pang of her hair, the girl smiles brightly despite her next words. I heard your king is very powerful. I'm sure he would make a wonderful pet for myself, how about that? Those arrogant words literally left everyone bulging their eyes out. To these demons, that fine contour only looked disgusting and grotesque because it's not the face of a beautiful damsel, but an executioner. Half a month ago, when the seal to the realm shattered due to the eye being destroyed, it was this girl and her people who first charged in here and wreaked havoc across the land. Those who were most talented and young was immediately sent out to the human world in search of help, but for those who were slow and incapable of fleeing with the main body, they were promptly captured by these invaders. The ending for those poor souls were either death by torture or forcefully tamed by a blood contract, forever sealing their fate as slaves to be used at will. The Demon Realm's Crisis. 5. Outrageous. How dare this female even think about making the king her pet? Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Ha ha ha. Fourth elder bursts out laughing, his eyes full of mockery and contempt. Little ass, I'm afraid you are nowhere as capable as you think you are. Tame our king? The remark obviously didn't leave a good impression on the pinkly dressed girl that's in charge of the invaders. Darkening in the face, only a bunch of animals. What ability do I need in order to tame a beast? But know this, even an animal can have their status raised by having a proper owner. My identity is unquestionable, so your king will also rise in order. If that king of yours return and find out you're hindering his wondrous future, then I can already see him killing you first. Seeing the other elders are quickly losing their temperaments as well now, fourth elder hurries to block off their movement with his hand. Cold in the face, it's possible to let you meet our king, however, I'm curious if you're brave enough to follow us to him. What would I fear? Cocking her chin high, the girl stands ready like a proud peacock. Lead the way, you lowly beast. Miss. One of the elderly men beside the lass hurries to stop this by tugging at her sleeve. This isn't a good idea. I heard there's also a lot of powerful masters in the demon realm, so I suspect they are luring us into a trap. Masters? The girl shows a despised grin in return. Senior Wei, why do you look down at yourself before even meeting the foe? I've been here for so long and haven't met a single master yet, not to mention some whatever king. If that king does show himself, I will make him surrender to me for sure. A beast should have the awareness of a beast. Nothing but animals, how dare they start pretending to be royalty and whatnot. Seeing his words won't have any effect, Senior Wei could only smile wryly as he followed the girl inside the palace. Ma. Supporting his own mother's back, Huang Che-mu makes a bittersweet face. You should have left with the group at that time. Leave? Old Madame Huang shakes that head in disagreement. No, I'm not leaving this place. This is our home, where can I go? Also, Xiaoying will definitely come back on her own, she will. Having said this, the granny suddenly slaps her own son across the head like she's thought of something infuriating. Why didn't you help Her Highness that day? If the queen didn't leave, then Xiaoying wouldn't have chased after them as well. This is all your fault. The tiger chief didn't have any words to soothe that ire. It's not like he didn't want to help, rather he only learned of the fact after the matter when Ditsang flew into a rage. Ma, you know I didn't know about the matter until it's too late. Rubbing the back of his head, the tiger chief felt like he's being wronged. Sending a glare at her own son again. When Xiaoying comes back, you are not allowed to yell at her or punish her. It's all because of your poor attitude that she ran away from home. But the girl clearly ran away in pursuit of that white cub. What does it have to do with my attitude? Whether or not this discussion's up for debate wasn't a choice because the granny had started to walk towards the palace as well. Ma, what are you doing? The tiger chief grew anxious at this sight. Pulling at his own ma's waist to stop her. This is too dangerous. You need to go back to the residence. Grinding her molars. You can go back if you like, I'm not leaving. These bastards are too much. How dare they go after the king with their filthy thoughts? Finding there's no way to change her mind, the tiger chief knew he's better off letting her do as she pleases. Following from behind like a good boy, the mother and son duo went off into the direction of where the elders disappeared to. The Demon Realm's Crisis, 6, Base of the Mountain. The hearts of these elders were all thumping with excitement for they're so close to their goal. However, things don't always pan out the way one wishes. Right when they're about to head inside and succeed, Senior Wei promptly got hold of the girl in pink to stop their movement. You all are certain the king is inside this mountain? His eyes scanning the demon elders with suspicion. Growing heavy in the face, fourth elder flashes a beam of cunning in his eye. Of course he is, you only need to come with us to meet him. The senior chuckled at this blatant lie. Turning his attention back to the lady, a devious smirk appears. Miss, the terrain here is too complex and rough, you shouldn't bother yourself by going up this mountain. Since their king is going to be your pet anyways, have him come down instead. One should know who is the owner and who is the pet. This idea promptly causes the Missy to light up with glee in her already unpleasant face. She was being impatient earlier, so the notion of setting an example never even crossed her mind. That idea is perfectly logical. Where's your king? Tell him to get down here to see me. Whisking her sleeve as she took a seat at one of the tree stumps nearby, she looks down at the several demon elders whom were completely taken aback by this sudden turn of event. We were so close. Only one step away, only one step. If they go up the mountain, then Lady Suzaku can definitely slay these invaders. The demon elders all thought of something similar and dreaded their own failure. From what I see, your so-called king isn't even here in the demon realm, am I right? Senior Wei begins mocking the other side with his smug grin. Stunned by this idea, the girl immediately swings her head around to the senior before turning back to the demon elders. One could clearly see the surge of anger swelling up from within. You old farts dare deceive me? Someone come tie these animals up. I like to see if their so-called king will come to save them or not. At the same time while that was occurring, a group of people had just arrived at the border between the human world and the demon realm. Yen, we're almost there. Ditsang's iris had sank in after seeing the mountains of corpses lying across the ground. I only left for a bit. How dare these people make a mess of my world? Bai Yen as well was showing a frown at this horrid sight. Where are the powerful masters of the demon realm? Shouldn't they at least defend the weaker demons? When flying over here, the group has already learned of the details and what's happening. According to the reports, there's a girl who suddenly barged into the demon realm after the seal was broken. Together with her followers, they captured every demon beast they could get their hands on. The strong would be forcibly bound to a blood contract to be used as slaves, the weak murdered without a second thought. That's the main reason for the huge flock of demons coming out to find Ditsang. They needed his help. Ditsang's complexion got heavy at his wife's question. The elite fighters have all been sent away to a secret domain for training, so they're not around to defend the realm. Aside from First Elder and State Teacher, there's no one capable of putting up a fight. Suzaku couldn't leave the mountain, so of course she's not included in the man's equation. As to why Ditsang and his followers would be so careless as to leave their home base defenseless, that has to do with the seal as well. Over the years, no one could readily attack the demon realm due to the place being secluded from the rest of the world, making it almost pointless to keep exceptionally powerful individuals at ready. Batty father. Lighting up in his big blue eyes, Bai Shuchen shoots up like a kid who's found a new toy. I also want to go into that secret domain for training. I will enhance my strength and protect mother. He's the Demon King. Okay, raising his hand, Di-tsang ruffles the boy's hair in consent. The main reason he didn't send his son into the secret domain before was mostly due to that being inside the boy's body. Now that it's being restrained using his own powers, there shouldn't be any problems for the time period. Demon Mountain. A group of guards now surrounds the members of the Elder Council, causing the atmosphere to be tense and critical. Ha ha ha. Fourth Elder suddenly breaks out into an eerie laugh of cunning. So what if our king isn't here? Now that we're at the Demon Mountain, you people can't do anything to us anyways so long as we take a few more steps upwards. That's right, they are effective safe already due to Suzaku being only a few meters away from being able to attack. If they forced their way out of this encirclement then no harm would come to them. Growing heavy in the face, Senior Wei wasn't going to take that threat lightly. He's also sensing an ominous sensation when peering up towards the peak of the mountain like something frightening lies in wait. Retreat. Waving his hand to order everyone to move, Fourth Elder knew this was their best opportunity to make a run for it. Sure enough, their assault easily catches one of the enemies off guard, thus creating an opening for their escape. Unfortunately, right when the elders were already steps away from reaching their goal of fleeing, an unexpected variable had caused them to turn around. It was old Madame Huang. The granny has been taken hostage by that Senior Wei with his deathly grip around the woman's throat. I heard you animals put a lot of emphasis on feelings. Don't tell me all of you are going to abandon this one to her fate? Ma. Huang Che-mu was the first to cry out after coming back to his sense. Inwardly, he was hating himself for not doing a better job of convincing his own ma of leaving instead of tagging along. Now not only was everyone stuck in a situation as a result of his moment of softness, she's also in danger. Do you have no shame in threatening an elderly? Let her go now. The one speaking out was Third Elder, his voice seething with rage when eyeing the perpetrator. Senior Wei sneers at this. You think I'm stupid or something? I know very well you're trying to lure us into that mountain. I don't know what's in there, but my intuitions are telling me it's either a trap or something dangerous. If you want this old hag to live, then come down from there this instant. Changing in their faces to a fearful white, Fourth Elder and the rest never expected this old man to be so vigilant. Just getting close is enough to sense the danger. You let go of my ma. The Tiger Chief rushes the person with fire in the eye. However, before that punch could even make contact, Senior Wei's one little sweep of the hand was enough to send out a wave of force to subdue the enraged chief. Sprawled onto the floor like a beaten cat, Huang Che-mu could not budge an inch, only spewing blood from his mouth and making a deathly glare with those bloodshot eyes. Let go of my ma. Compared with her son's resentment and panicking appearance, old Madame Huang was rather calm there. She's experienced a lot over the long years of her life, so death wasn't something she's afraid of. You people think I'm afraid of death or something? You're wrong. Son, go back to the elder's side immediately. My granddaughter cannot be without family after my death. He's the Demon King, too. Old Madame Huang has no regrets about coming along. To this granny, these people are here to destroy her home, so of course she must stay and share the fate of this realm. Ma. Huang Che-mu cries out using an excruciating voice like his lungs about to give. He's listened to his mother all his life, but this time he couldn't, not by abandoning her. I told you to scram. The granny grew furious over her son's disobedience. Her eyebrows had long become white due to age, but now with this devastating event and her granddaughter's departure, old Madame Huang's previously well-maintained face was now haggard at this point. Want to go? Too bad for you people, leaving is not an option. Senior Wei mocks them with a sly grin. Think this over quickly. Watch me kill this old granny or come down from that hill to save her. Pick before I make the choice. The elders present had all stopped in their footsteps by now up at the hill, their eyes watching the stubborn old madam and her son struggle. Grandpa Wei, the girl impatiently frowns. Why are we wasting time on these people? Let's just go right up and deal with them. There can't possibly be anything dangerous on a tiny mountain like this. Having said that, the lady then began to willfully walk towards where the demon elders are. However, the senior clearly didn't agree and promptly pulled her back in haste. Miss, my intuitions won't be wrong here. This mountain is shrouded in a heavy air and littered with traps. Without a proper trap master with us, we won't be able to ensure your safety. Back up at the hill, fourth elder was growing increasingly more anxious as the seconds dragged on. He's not able to stand idly by and watch the tiger chief and the old madam die in front of his eyes. That's not something he could get past his conscience. This time it looks like we won't be able to avoid this crisis. Fourth elder smiles wryly as he resolutely walked towards the base again. Chief Huang, I still owe you a favor from before, so consider this as repayment. When his eyes fell upon the tiger chief again, the elder's face looked helpless yet firm, like he's prepared to meet his fate. Although he's ranked fourth among the many elders in the palace, fourth elder was in fact the youngest of the batch. If not for his exceptional talent, he never would have been conscripted. As for the favor mentioned here, it was by coincidence, but he had suffered a serious injury at one point in his life. When that occurred, it was Huang Che-mu who inadvertently saved himself, hence the favor. Old Madame Huang was now starting to panic after seeing that figure coming down to them. What are you doing? Hurry and leave, I don't need anyone to save me. Despite that, the fourth elder didn't slow or become hesitant. In a blink of an eye, he's already at the mountain base again, causing the old madam to be filled with regret due to this ending. The granny doesn't fear death, but she does fear dragging down others with her due to a simple mistake she caused. That's a sin and a shame she wouldn't be able to put down. Ha ha ha. Senior Wei hasn't fallen so low to lose his humanity yet. Pushing the old granny aside with one palm strike, the old man zooms forward like a burst of lightning and instantly stood before the fourth elder. He's the Demon King. 3. The fourth elder didn't have time to react due to the stiffness in him when confronting this overwhelming aura. Next thing he knew was a loud bang against his chest that caused himself to flinch backwards in pain, blood dripping down the corner of his mouth. Making a poignant smile, you people from the celestial realm are only so much, and here I thought you would take my life with that strike. Impudent beast. Senior Wei flew into a rage, his attacks coming down like a storm. Due to the fourth elder being prepared this time around, he did not get hit right away. Nevertheless, the tide still lies with the enemy, leaving the young elder on the defensive. Bang! In a careless exchange, a hit lands and causes that already pained face to turn even whiter. Fourth elder. Suddenly, a hand reaches over from the side and supports him from behind. Turning stiff at the realization, the elder promptly swings his head around to find a familiar face. Quivering in the lips, Old Five, what are you doing here? Without hesitation or fear, the rest of the members of the Elder Council had also returned from the hill, their faces firm and unyielding. You guys, Old Four, all of us are one, that's what makes the Demon Council strong. First elder is away and second elder is being punished, that makes me the leader here. The third elder coldly confronts Senior Wei, who's eyeing himself with contempt. So, we will leave together if we can, and if not then we will perish here together. The fourth elder couldn't help but smile at his brethren's stubborn yet heartwarming decision. Okay, we will live together or die together. The lady in pink didn't miss this scene. Caressing her chin in contemplation, I knew animals are more emotional and closer together than us humans. Interesting. If I bind that demon king with a blood bond, wouldn't that make the entire demon realm my slave? Yes, that will do nicely. But wait, wasn't the queen of these animals also a human? Another old man nearby nods in affirmation. Yes, that queen is a human. Then that's a pity. If that person is a human then she can't be my pet. The lady sighs at the notion. I don't like others tarnishing my things, not even my pets. When I subdue the demon realm's queen, killing her is just a matter of a word. Demon beasts are known to protect their owner with ferocity. If I become their mistress then they will surely obey my orders. Afterwards I can just find that king another wife from among the batch of females. Miss, that demon king and the human woman seems to have produced a child as well. The old man explains with a furrowed forehead. Child? The lady snarls, if that child's talent is excellent then it can stay, but if not then remove it as well. What a shame, for the demon king's bloodline to be tainted by a common woman. Although she too was a human and holds the demons here in contempt, but this lady couldn't deny that Deetsong must have a lineage superior to all the rest. And now it's being tarnished by an outside source. Regarding the dialogue between those two, the battling elders didn't hear it because they're far too focused on the enemy. But if they did. He's the demon king, for, with the added addition of the other elders into this fight, Senior Wei himself was now forced to a standstill as well and couldn't do anything to them. Making an involuntarily frown at this lack of progress, the girl in the back shoots a signaling look to the other subordinates under her charge. The old men understood immediately. Drawing their weapons, they rushed over to join the fray. Old 8, careful. Fourth elder tenses up at the sight of an enemy trying to attack his brother from behind. In his haste, the young man could only push the person aside to take his place. Because of the exhaustion in his stamina and the duration of the fighting being dragged on, fourth elder honestly didn't have any ability to escape that strike anymore. Next thing he knew, a blade had pierced right through his back and out through his chest. Blood came gushing forward like a column as a result, causing everyone's eye to be dyed an anguish red. Rushing the assailant like a mad dog at this sight, third elder fuses all his power into that palm strike to repel the enemy. Surprisingly, he actually managed to force the foe backwards with his attack to gain some space despite being the weaker one. Old 4. Catching the injured one before he collapses, third elder could see the man's robe had been stained red by blood. That ghostly white complexion didn't help the situation either. Oof. Fourth elder coughs hard in his attempt to speak, I'm fine, don't worry about me. Hurry, hurry and take old Madam Huang up to the demon mountain. Scanning the enemies blocking their path again, then back to themselves who are either injured or just barely holding on, third elder makes a bittersweet smile. Looks like it's too late now. Hey! The girl breaks through the crowd, her hands forking that waist like she's annoyed by the delay. I will give you all another chance. Go bring your king to me and I will not take your life out of consideration that you're going to be my slaves. P. Spitting at her words, eighth elder scornfully yells out his response, dream on. Our king will never become someone's pet or slave. You're not him, so how can you make the decision for him? Besides, how would you know he wouldn't want to be my pet? The lady sneered in contempt, saying it nicely he is the king of this realm, but saying it badly then he's no more than livestock. He choo-choo, am of noble status. Him not being my pet is burying his talent, understand? But before anyone could say another word or respond to this outlandish statement, a dark and menacing voice promptly spread across the terrain from the sky, causing even the ground to shudder in fear. You want to make me your pet? Greatly surprised, he choo-choo swings upward immediately to find the source. To her astonishment, that purplish figure and the eye-stunning face had left her speechless. She's already heard of how beautiful and handsome some of these demon beasts could become when taking on a human form, but not to this degree. What a shame, to think such a peerless face would belong to an animal. There's an unconcealed look of disappointment in the girl's eye for sure, but when she saw the female floating there next to the man next, her eyes promptly narrowed into a slit of hostility. The woman up there wore a long dress of red, stunning and beautiful. The pair was a match made in heaven. Needless to say, the second person was the mentioned queen, and the one he choo-choo intends to kill. Mother, Bai Shechen carefully climbs up from the golden dragon's back and points toward the girl below. Why does she want to make Batty Father her pet? I'm worried that if she does, Batty Father would be so grossed out that he won't be able to eat. He's the Demon King. 5. Bai Shechen's voice may be very childish and downright innocent sounding, yet it's damning and irritating to this he choo-choo. Grandpa Wei. Grinding her teeth with a livid face, the lady howls out her command. Nodding at that, the senior knew what must be done. Scanning the excited demon elders, then at the Demon King's face up in the sky. As expected, the king of the demon realm is different from these rabbles. If you are willing to submit to my lady, then there will be plenty of benefits waiting for you. Cold in the voice, the senior throws out his idea of a good proposal only to be ignored like he's non-existent. Landing on the ground by jumping down from the gold dragon's back, Bai Yan directly comes before fourth elder to stuff a pill into the man's mouth. Moments later, the blood was quenched and the wounds quickly mending. Queen, the injured individual started to get emotional once the tears started to flow. You're finally back. That day it really wasn't His Majesty's intent. He was framed by another who used second elder to their advantage. We made sure the perpetrator has paid the price. Watching the grim look on the fourth elder's face, Bai Yan sighed. I know everything, that's why I returned. Openly sobbing now, this is great. The queen is back and the king won't be so furious anymore. Only a human woman. I'm really curious on why you would become the queen of these animals. Don't tell me it's because you couldn't think things through after being discarded by another man, right? If that's the case, then it's truly a pitiful story. Finding that she's being ignored, Chu decides to forcibly interject into their conversation by using her sarcastic words. Bang! Suddenly, a strong gush of wind sweeps over from the side from out of nowhere. She wanted to dodge out of instinct from this surprise attack, but it's already too late by then. Her body got tossed over into the air similar to a broken kite as blood sprinkled the ground like rain droplets. Miss! Senior Wei flies into a rage, his eyes spewing fire at the silvery-haired assailant. You will pay for this transgression with your life. Shrouded in his own anger, this old fella has apparently become blind to Di Tsang's overwhelming and dangerous aura. In a flash, the senior has come before the great demon king to grapple that neck using his talon-like fingers. Unfazed and unafraid, the demon king didn't even flinch at this direct attempt at his own life. Releasing his insane power to enshroud the senior in his own force, a strange and eerie of silvery light seems to have materialized due to the intensity. Poof! None of them could catch what just happened. They only knew Senior Wei just abruptly froze in mid-action and started to bleed all over his body. It's as if innumerable swords had slashed and pierced through his body from out of nowhere. For a while there, the whole mountain was thrust into a deadly silence where even a touch of a feather could be heard. The most astounded here had to be the people brought along by Chu, of course. They were horrified and stunned by this amazing display of power. It couldn't be helped. Senior Wei was the strongest among their group. Without him, what could they do against this demon king? You are not from the celestial realm, Di Tsang loudly proclaims. Speak, where are you people from? Third elder quivered at this notion. King, you mean to say they're not from the celestial realm? That's right, showing an evil smirk. Those cowards know very well of the demon realm's strength. They would never dare come invade so openly, let alone claim they could subdue me. Tire them to death. One, not from the celestial realm? Everyone had to take a momentary pause to take in this astounding news. If she's not from the celestial realm, then where? Another higher realm? Loosening his arms around Bai Yan's waist, Di Tsang slowly came before Chu, who still sprawled there on the floor after his attack. It's dreadful for the lady. Not only did she suffer a severe injury by that strike, the ominous air felt suffocating in her current state like she's being pressed down by a mountain. In addition to the human world, demon world, and celestial world, there's also other worlds in between these three. Since you're no ethereal being from the underworld, it's safe to assume you're from the spirit world, or spirit realm by its official name, am I correct? Under that tyrannical gaze, Chu instinctively wanted to squirm away. You? How did you know that? The spirit realm was located at the outermost edge of the demon realm. It's also the main channel to the other realms like the human world. Due to the fact that the various realms were sealed and cut off from one another 1,000 years ago, the spirit realm was also left in seclusion during long period of isolation, hence the reason why the demon elders didn't realize this fact. But now that the barrier separating the various worlds has been shattered at the hands of Di Tsang's will, everything was quickly coming undone and returning to its original state from eons ago. I've said it already, those cowards from the celestial realm doesn't have the guts to come make trouble for me. Feeling the man's violent aura coming down above now that they're only inches apart, Chu starts flustering in a panic. Someone, quick, save me. The old followers that came with the lady trembled at the thought of confronting this menacing foe. Even so, they are the girl's guardian and would carry out their duties as needed. With a stern heart, they forced themselves to move forward. Have you asked for my opinion in making trouble for my man? Bai Yan's hand caresses her son's head. She suddenly chuckles and interrupts the moment. You are nothing but a monarch rank, do you think you can stop us? One of the seniors snaps at her. I can't, but they can. Pointing to the members of the Demon Council, her face showed confidence in them. Infuriated by this mockery, don't think just because Senior Wei is dead that you can insult us like so. They are nothing but beaten dogs that lost to us. In the world of demons, they are only afraid of Deetsong. As for everyone else, they don't even consider them a target. Ignoring the rude remark, Bai Yan comes before the fourth elder again and tosses over a storage bag. This is, fourth elder made a surprised and confused face after inspecting the content. Smiling, these Dan pills are something I made while staying at the Misty Fairy House. They're called Limit Breaker Dan pill. Take one and your physical strength will exceed your original limits. For example, fourth elder, you are currently at the upper level of the monarch rank, am I correct? With this you will be able to have the arm strength equal to a celestial rank. Hiss. A pour of gasping sounds washed over these people, their looks filled with disbelief when facing Bai Yan's gorgeous contour. A pill capable of raising one's arm strength by a whole rank? Where did she get such amazing recipes from? Bai Yan didn't do much to explain because in her view this wasn't all that amazing. Sure, it does bring the user's physical strength up by a whole rank after consumption, but this 7th grade alchemic pill doesn't truly change one's inner power, making it somewhat superficial after the expiration period. Also, the other one in there is a type of 8th grade alchemic pill called Mending Dan pill. You guys saw its effect earlier already when I threw one into fourth elder's mouth. It can speed up one's recovery if consumed.